Thank you so much for having me.
You're very easy to talk to. You're a strong man of your faith, and that's what makes it so easy. We connected like that in the beginning.
What is up? What is up? What is up? Everyone. It is another day, another time, and another week for yours and my favorite Monday night show. And I'm talking about We'll Talk Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, you all, we have a beast up in here tonight. We had a conversation once, and from that one conversation, we automatically clicked. It was like literally our spirits aligned. It's like talking to someone that I knew my whole life. So you all, I'm gonna just let her introduce herself. You all. So I want y'all to like, I want y'all to share, and I want y'all to tag, and I want y'all to tell everybody and tell somebody that We'll Talk Monday is on. Wait a minute, let me rephrase that. This been the Music Love Awards nominated podcast of the year. We'll Talk Monday is on. So let's hit it, you all. Let's hit it. Let's hear it. Hello, ma'am. How are
Hi.
you?
Hi, James. How are you? I'm doing great. And thank you so much for having me on your show.
All right. I am well. How are you? Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
So tell my audience a little bit about you for the ones that may have been living under a rock for a while.
Okay, so my name is Fionia Salmon, and I am an author, an entrepreneur, a woman of God. I believe in faith is the foundation of everything, and everything that I do, I put it to God in prayer and allow Him to lead me and direct me. You might be asking, oh, your accent. Yes, I'm from Jamaica, I'm from the Caribbean. So, yes, that's the accent. I migrated here over 10 years ago, and currently working in aviation and also, doing my side hustles as well. You know how we do it. So thank you for having me, James.
No problem. I am excited about having this conversation tonight. So we're gonna kick it off with a question like this. When I
Mhm.
say I survived it, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Go ahead, repeat.
When I say I survived it, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
I survived mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse.
Mm.
Mm.
So at this point, what I want you to do is tell my audience one of your survival stories, and then we're gonna go from there.
So when I came here over a little bit over 10 years ago, my ex-husband at the time, we got married for love and everything. And I think that because I'm an immigrant, he thinks that he can control me or limit where I go, who I talk to. And for years, I couldn't even mention this to my family to let them know what was going on because my family loved him so much. And I was protecting him day in, day out, so that no one will look down on him and everything. But those are signs of someone in an abusive relationship. So what I did, I just one day I just said, you know what, this is not my destiny. I have to get out of this. And I remember one year I went to Canada to visit my friend, and when I came back, I saw my clothes was thrown out on the porch. I had nowhere to go because we were living in the south at the time, and even my car that I was driving, he would take away the car. He was just totally want to be in control of everything. When I said everything, everything. And for me, I struggled under, his control for many months. I cried to my sleep. I cried, literally cried every night going to bed because I don't know where to turn to. Yes, you might be asking, were you praying? Yes, I was praying. And oftentimes we do pray and we are saying that we're listening to God, but we're not listening to God because sometimes we do not block out those outside noises, and sometimes we tend want to just lean onto our own understanding. But remember, God says, not do not lean onto your own understanding. Trust Him and allow Him to lead the way. And I think that for me, I spent so much time in that situation because I was not allowing God to lead. I was not taking the time out even to listen to Him, for Him to instruct me as what to do. I remember I went to Mississippi, and at the time I was working with a telephone company at the time, and they said to me, they're looking for a district manager. Mark, it took me 17 years to finish my bachelor's, and to just get a job, just finishing my bachelor's, and to become an assistant district manager. That's a huge job. And they said that they're going to send me to Mississippi to look around to see if I really like the area and everything. Remember, I want to get out of my situation because at the time when he threw me out, I actually find somewhere and I was living, and he will just pull up at my workplace and everything. So I was like, okay, maybe God is saying I need a way out. So anyway, I went to Mississippi. I thought that that was God's way. Went to Mississippi, I looked around, and this voice said to me that, Fiona, this is not the place for you. I was like, Why? This is a big job. Why this is not the place for me?" And I said to God, okay, so what should I do? And the voice came to me and said that I need to move back to New York City where my family is. And I said, but I don't have a job. I don't have anywhere to live, even though I do have family here, but there was no space for me here. I remember I called my brother and I said, hey, I'm coming back to New York. Can you allow me to stay with you for a while? And he said to me, well, I have to ask my wife. And when he asked, he said that his wife said, no, I can't stay there, but I can leave my things there. So I said, God, where am I gonna live? Like, I'm homeless right now, Right throughout the process, I was trusting God and hoping that something will come about. I remember during one of my visits here, when I was living in the South and I came to New York, I met this guy who I met from back home, like way in the days when I was going to high school. And he gave me his number and said, whenever that you're in New York and, if you need somewhere to stay, reach out to me. I picked up the phone after and I called him and I said, hey, I'm heading to New York right now. Sorry, it's sudden, but I need somewhere to stay. And he said, no problem, you can come. I have a little room. It's not big, it's not fancy, it's not, but you can come and stay with me. I tell you, James, when I went to that room, I have to open the door, squeeze myself in to close the door. In fact, sit on the bed and then close the door. That's just to show you that there was no space. But guess what? I let it work because God opened a door for me when I didn't see a door. So I walked through that door, stayed there for 2 months, and then I got my own place. And from there, it was just moving up. Yes, my ex-husband, he wanted me to come back, and all the nice things, and oh, he's sorry. I said, no, I'm not going to come back. I'm going forward. I'm not looking back. And in space of 1 month, he sent me that divorce paper. So that was a very dark period of my life.
But you survived it. You survived it.
I did.
What I commend you for is a lot of people, when their brother said, no, you can't stay here,
Mm-hmm.
they would have been like, okay, God, I tried to leave the situation, but obviously there's nowhere for me to go. I don't have a place to stay. So obviously I was hearing you wrong. So since I was hearing you wrong, let me just stay where I'm at. But
Hmm.
he was like, no,
No,
I know I heard from God, and I know that He told me to leave his situation.
that's right.
And another thing I commend you for is you didn't look back. You
I
kept
didn't
moving
look
straight
back.
forward ahead.
Mm.
Because if you would have looked back, imagine all the things that you would have lost out on just by looking back.
I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. Maybe I would commit suicide. I don't know. And even in that moment, just to tell you how much it really affected me, I had to, I went and get therapy so that I'm able to cope with all of that distress that I have been through, so that I can turn out to be the best version of myself. So I don't allow my situation to be burdened on my shoulder. I shake that off and I said, I'm going forward.
That's to be commended because most people, like I said, would have been like, you know what, man, I'm not going to go for it. I'm gonna just stay where I'm at because I'm
Mm.
comfortable right here.
That's right.
That's the
That's right.
word right there. Comfortable. Like you was, even though you wasn't comfortable in the situation because it was bad for you.
Mm.
Sometimes we can get comfortable in bad situations just because of the simple fact of we become used to it.
Dependency. Dependency.
Yeah. And there's some people that fall in love with toxicity. They're in love with the toxicity of a
Mhm.
relationship because they don't realize how toxic it is and they forget how good a healthy relationship feels.
That's so true. I really agree with you. I can say that in that household, I didn't pay a bill. He paid all the bills. He had a good job. He's an engineer, so he makes money. So everything was provided. Was I comfortable in spirit? No. Was I comfortable in him hitting on me or abusing me physically or talking down to me, mentally breaking me down? When I say break me down, because guess what? He wants me where he wants me. And God said, no, Fiona, this is not for you. It's not working. And oftentimes we're not honest with ourselves. We have to be honest to ourselves to say, hey, girl, this is not working out for you. It's not working out. You need to try plan B. It's not working out. It's time for you to go.
And we don't want to go because, like I said, we have become used to the toxic. We
Mm-hmm.
become used to it. It's like the toxic is like, I don't want to say it's fun to us, but it is fun to us. The toxicity is like, it keeps it spicy. It keeps it
Mm-hmm.
spicy. And we think that we need that spice to keep a great relationship. It doesn't take that. And
No,
then
it
once you
doesn't.
get in a healthy relationship or a healthy situation, you realize how crazy it was to be in that toxic situation.
Yes, and sometimes you're out of that relationship, that bad relationship, that you're saying to yourself, Even when the good one comes, you're questioning yourself. Is this, is, oh, this is so true to be. Why? Because you're used to that toxic relationship, toxic environment. Everything that is uttered is just negative.
Hmm. You're used to it. You have become immune to it. It's like, I want to say, in a roundabout way, it becomes a drug to you.
Yeah. And I reached the stage where he calls and he apologized to me. I didn't ask him to apologize to me, but for him to, God humbled him, for him to call me and said, you know what? I wanted this marriage, but I was not ready. I was not ready emotionally. I was not ready. I was not available. And oftentimes I often says that you have to be fit to live and fit to live with in this earth, on
Mm.
this earth.
Say
you
that
know
again for the ones in the back.
you have to be fit to live and fit to live with. And a lot of people don't take the time out to deal with their baggages. They have a lot of baggages and they take it in their relationship. They take it everywhere they go. They need to shake off and, shake off all those baggages because it's not good, because you're not fit to live with. You might think that you're fit, but you're not fit to live with.
Mm. So here's my question: how did you deal with your baggage before you moved on to something healthy? Did you go through therapy? What did you do?
I did a lot of therapy. I did a lot of soul searching. I wrote my book from all that. I started my book while I was there and I lost everything and I had to start all over again. But I had to do a lot of therapy, and even therapy of writing my book allow me to relive them and release and move on.
Because sometimes people are living rent free in our head. And here's the thing: we think forgiveness is for the other person. It's not for the other person, it's for you.
Yes.
Because holding on to that unforgiveness is
Mm-hmm.
nothing more than poison to your soul. And you are taking the poison and drinking the poison, eating the poison, and waiting on someone else to die. Make that make
Mm.
sense.
Yes, you make sense. A lot of times, um, we as individual, I think that we depend so much on the next person for us to be content,
Mm.
or we depend on the next person to be the better version of ourselves. But we are responsible and we need to hold ourselves accountable for our actions, for how we think, how we process things. So we can't say, okay, we're in a marriage or in a relationship and my happiness is based on my husband. If my husband is happy, then I'm happy. No, you have to individually work on yourself and work on the relationship with God as well, so that God can help you to exert, just pick up on anything that comes your way. If this align with your faith, yes or no, if they
Come
need
on.
to go.
That's powerful right there.
Mm,
Like for me, you have to get to a point to where you get tired of being sick and tired. And when it comes to the point to where it's either you or them, you got
mm-hmm,
to get to that point to where you're like, you know what, I'm choosing me 24/7, 365 days out of the year.
mm-hmm,
If I'm telling you what you're doing is messed up, if I'm telling you what you're doing is not healthy for me, and you
mm-hmm,
continuing to do it anyway, guess what?
mm,
I'ma choose me at this point.
mm. Word, word. That's powerful, powerful.
So here's my next question to you. How many of your friends are family? did you let know the situation that you was in, or did you
Oh,
kind of hold it in and try to be like, what goes on in this house stays in this house? Because I'll be honest, that's a toxic trait too. We in the
mm,
African American community have a toxic trait of what goes on in this house stays in this house. Now forget that. If what's going on in this house is affecting me physically, emotionally, and spiritually and mentally, I'm getting out of here.
mm-hmm. I was like that. What goes on in this house stays in this house. But guess what? What affects me? It's my responsibility because I need more for myself, and that's not my destiny. That's not my end. So I have to get out. So holding in, and even my book, I went deep in those dark places. Be transparent as possible. So when I went through, I realized that what goes on behind closed doors should stay. No, no, no. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to have a voice. It's okay to call someone and let them know what you're going through. Because I was drowning silently
Mm,
because I didn't want my family to know what I was going through. My family loved them. When I said my family loved them, yes, and I didn't want to disappoint them. But guess what? I realized that that disappointment is on them. I'm not going to disappoint myself, so I'm going to get out of this situation because I want to live stress free.
I like that. You said that disappointment is on them because so many times we live our lives trying to please others.
That's so true. We do. A lot of times we do. I see even on social media, I see where, and that's why sometimes you have to be careful with what you view and how you view people, and oh, you want your life to look this way, like the Jones or whatever. You don't know what happened in closed doors or behind doors. You don't know. So don't say you want to be like the Joneses. You don't know what it takes for them to be the Joneses. You
Mm-mm.
don't know what happened behind that door. So you know what? Show up every day as yourself. Show up as the best person ever. I'm gonna show up as Fionia. This is one Fionia. There's no more Fionia out there.
Mm. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna have what we call the real talk moment. What that is I'm gonna give you a moment to tell my audience where they can find you at, where they can follow you at, how they can support you, and then I want you to leave my audience with some kind of words of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, you coming back. You have to come back. We gotta get you back on here, legit. Like you family now, like
Definitely.
y'all don't understand. We met in a podcast this group.
Mm-hmm.
I message her, invite her on my show. We get on the phone on Facebook Messenger. You just have a conversation. You all, when I tell you, if we didn't go to search in the middle of our conversation,
Mm, mm,
that's how I know it was real because it was like having a conversation with somebody that I've known my whole life.
mm. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's just me. Just what you see is what you get.
And I,
Um, I always pray for God to humble me, keep me humble, no matter the stages or the room that I go in. Allow me to be humble and be honest to myself and be transparent. And that's just me. This is Fiona all the way through.
I love it. I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you.
So we're gonna let you have your words of wisdom and tell my audience where they can find you at.
Definitely. If you realize that I'm wearing this t shirt and It's my walking motivation t-shirt, and it says, "It will be long, but not forever." And I
Mm,
live by this phrase because my sister, who passed away from HIV, she always said to me that, "Fiona, no matter what, in those dark moments, it will be long, but it's not going to be forever. Listen, pick yourself up. Don't give up." I know, listen, you are allowed to feel tired. You are allowed to say, "Boy, this is hard." But guess what? You're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to quit. Quitting must not be the answer. Get up, brush off. Even if you're crawling, you're still moving. Be the best person that you can be. Because guess what? It's not every day it's gonna rain. It's not every day it's gonna be sunshine. So guess what? It will be long, but not forever.
mm.
And if you're wondering where can you get a copy of my book is available on Amazon. It's in ebook. I'm also working on the audiobook because I realize that a lot of people, they don't like to read, so I'm working on the audio part of it. Um, hard cover, paperback, and it's also available on my TikTok shop. So Yonia underscore distributors. If you look for my company's name, you'll find it there. It's also on Facebook at Fionia Salmon, and it's also on Instagram, Fionia underscore Salmon official. So wherever you scroll on social media, you are able to order my book. And also, not to mention my YouTube channel, you might have seen my name, my handle, Fionia and Friends. Go ahead and follow me on all my socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you scroll, just go ahead and follow me. And also, if you come over to my YouTube channel, I created this podcast to encourage, inspire, and motivate people, a space that they can come and share their stories. Also, my Thankful Thursday, where we pause, just giving, just just be grateful. And this is like an informative session where we have experts like the doctors coming in, and they're talking about ways of losing weight or taking care of your body, your mind, spirit, and soul, the entire body. So come on over. Thankful Thursday, it's every second and fourth Thursday of each month. And also, Motivational Monday is the first and third Monday of each month. So come on over to my YouTube channel, and that is Fiona and Friends. It's a
Y'all
lot,
heard,
right?
y'all heard all that she has going on, right? Like I told y'all, she is a legend in these streets, and I appreciate her for taking some time out
Thank
to
you.
come in and share some wisdom with us. I want you all to like, I want you all to share, I want y'all to tag, I want y'all to go over there also and buy all of her books. I want her to reach back out to me and say, James, within a week I had to restock all of my
Oh,
books
to
because
God be the glory,
your
James.
family, your
Thank
Will
you.
Talk family, your James H. Glover Studios family just literally came over here and sold me out.
Oh my God, that would be a blessing, honestly. You know, one thing I just wanna say that I practice to be grateful for small mercies. And
Mm,
even if I don't reach the mass, one person, I'm okay with it.
I like that. I like that. So you all, as I always say, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments, meaning some things that we looking at as bad, God is only turning it around for our good. Stay
Mm-hmm.
blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. And I
Yes.
will see y'all next week. What is up? What is up? What is up, everyone, everyone, everyone? It is another day, another time, and another week. But yours and my favorite Monday night show. And I'm not talking about Monday night football. I'm talking about your favorite show, my favorite show. We'll Talk Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all, look, we are still in our I Survived It series. And when I tell y'all, these guests that we have had come on, it seems like every time their stories are just getting better and better and better and better and better. And tonight, y'all, it ain't gonna be no different. You all, I have seen this powerful young lady on another podcast, and immediately after that podcast was over, I'm reaching out to her like, yo, I gotta get you on the show. We had tried to get her on once before, some things didn't work out, but God already knew that this was the time for her to be on through this series. If I've survived it, you all see as an author, see as a mother, see as a wife, and see as a survivor to the top notch tier. I'm talking about my new friend and my new homie, Miss Unique. And I promise you, after y'all hear her story tonight, she's gonna be y'all's new big sis in your head. I promise you. I promise you. So after we play this 1 minute clip, the next face you will see is that Miss Unique. And yo, if you ain't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, you know what? I'm about sick of reminding y'all to subscribing. But you know what? You know what? I ain't even gonna play with y'all no more. I ain't even gonna play with y'all. Y'all gonna do what y'all want to do. All right. But we're gonna deal with this later. Hey, hey, hey! How are you doing, sis?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking me. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. So before we get too far into this discussion, because we're not even gonna call it a show tonight, it's just gonna be a conversation.
Hmm?
So for those that may have been living under a rock like I have these last few years, inform the people of who you are. Because I just gave them a snippet of your bio. Tell the people who you are, and then we'll get into this discussion.
Sure. So, my name is Unique. I am from Brooklyn, New York. I currently reside in Brooklyn, New York. I am a wife. I am a mother of four. And also, I'm in a medical field. I do nursing. I also have a book coming out. Just me as a person. I like to consider myself a DV advocate due to the fact that I am a survivor. And that's pretty much it.
All right. So y'all, so all right, let's get into this conversation tonight. So when I say to you, I survived it, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Strength.
Mm, I
Strength is
like that.
come to my mind.
I like that. I like that. So now I'm gonna give you a chance to tell your story to those that may not know, or what you can tell of your story, because we've already talked about it, and then we'll go in from the discussion from there. Go on ahead. The floor is yours.
Sure, thank you. So, I was dating a guy at the time. He was much older than me. At the time, he was 48 and I was 24. So, the first year, everything was going well. Being that I've never dated no one that much older than me, I thought that everything was going good. I had children, he had children. We both working. I'm just finishing college, to do my nursing thing. Everything is going fine. But I noticed after about a year, like I did see him like drinking more often, and then that led him to lose his job. Once he lost his job, I noticed it seemed like he was very agitated all the time, because at this point he lost his job. He's not doing so well. I'm doing well. I just graduated from college. I'm working a job, in the field of my choice. So I felt like this was a very good, part of my life right now, and and everything wasn't going so good for him. So it started a lot with agitation with him. He would pick arguments with me. I'm not too much of a confrontational person. So I would try to ignore it. And, when it's your significant other and you see that they went through something, you try to be there for them. You don't want to
Right. Right.
become part of the problem. You want to help them. So
Mhm.
that obviously didn't work. So within, I say, like a year and a half going into 2 years, it started with verbal abuse from him. He would call me a lot of names. after the name calling, when I had to go to work and things like that, it's just like he always tried to make me upset. And then I'll never forget the first time that he hit me. We were arguing. I believe it was like food or something, simple. And he slapped me. And when he slapped me, being that he was older than me and I was younger, I didn't know how to take it. And then being I did love him, I didn't know how to accept what he did to me. Because when you love someone, you wouldn't hurt you, and then it didn't register like, wow, like he just hit me, and it was just a little debate. So from there, that one hit ended up from a slap to punches to eventually, a couple hospital stays. So from then, I couldn't take it anymore. This went on for maybe about a year. So I do have a strong family background. Like my mom and my dad is in my life, as well as, my family. And I tried to hide everything from them due to the fact that I was embarrassed. And even being embarrassed, I was more like hurt because I didn't know how to accept what was happening in my life. It went from college, doing good relationship, to verbal abuse, to actual physical abuse. And like I said, I end up in the hospital a couple times. So from there, I started seeking out for help. I would talk to my mom about a few things because like I said, I didn't know how to handle this. So I decided that I wanted to leave. So I did leave the first time, and he would threaten that he would hurt my mom, my family, and my children. So of course, I went back. I felt like, which is, I understand now that it wasn't a good thing, but I put myself to blame because I'm like, I didn't want my family to get hurt behind the decision that I made to deal with this person. So
Right.
I decided to go back, and from there, it got worse. I started noticing like little baggies and things around my house. I don't do drugs or anything. Come to find out, he was on cocaine. So from the cocaine to the drinking, the beatings got worse. So pretty much the last straw that I had, I never forget, we had a fight to where I ended up in the hospital. I had to get stitches in my face. My arm was fractured. And I said, I cannot do this. So from that point on, I went to the police station. I said, I can't do this no more. I'm like, I'm being beat on. I don't know what to do because if I go back, he's going to kill me, because that's what I felt due to the beatings that I was receiving. And I didn't want him to hurt my family because he knew exactly where my mom was. Every time I would try to leave, he would go straight to my mother's house and then threaten her. So they took me to the shelter. I stayed in the shelter for about like 2-3 months due to the fact that I was working, with the system. Everything, went kind of quickly. So I finally landed at an apartment. I decided to move. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but in New York, we have like, Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, and have a little area called Far Rockaway where it's like, we don't even consider that like a borough or anything. It's like its own place where not too many people stay there. So I decided there because I wanted to go like in hiding because I didn't want him to find me. I just wanted to kind of just let my family know what was going on and didn't want anyone else to find me. So the first day that I moved in, I didn't have much furniture or anything, and I decided, I'm like, I want to have a housewarming party. This is something good to me. Like, I finally landed an apartment. I finally got away from him. I was safe for, a couple months. I felt good.
Right, of course.
I lied to you not. After the housewarming party, because even the whole time, like, how they say you got to go with your instincts. Like, I felt something wasn't right, but I couldn't pinpoint what exactly it was. So from there, everyone left. I never forget, this was January. At that time, it was like Martin Luther King Day coming up. So that's how I remember it. So I'm like, let me clean up. Let me, go to work to get the overtime or whatever. I went to throw the garbage out and I seen him standing there. I couldn't freaking believe this because I'm like, how the heck did he find me? I'm somewhere where no one really comes out here. Nobody really goes to Far Rockaway. I just moved in like the night before. I didn't really have any furniture or anything. Like you ever watch a movie and you be like, oh, if that was me, I would do this. I could not move. Like I froze, and he's standing there looking at me. And then the moment like he went to chase me, like that's when I tried to run, but it was too late. He caught up to me. So to make a long story short, a fight occurred, you know, because at this moment I knew that I was fighting for my life due to the fact that I left. He had a knife in his hand. I knew that he was going to try to end my life. So, you know, flight or fright, I tried to defend myself. In the process of me defending myself, I blacked out. To this day, I still can't tell you like every detail that happened, but I know when I came to, like, it was blood everywhere, and you know, I'm shaking, and I'm not registering what's happening, but I did see like he was not moving. So due to him not moving, you know, now the nurse kick in, and then this was somebody that I was dealing with, so I had to try to check him and see what's going on, and I called the cops. I'm like, look, you know, me and my ex, we had a fight. He's on the floor. He's not breathing. I got blood on me. I don't even know what occurred. No knife is in my hand. None of that. And from there, you know, they came. I can remember seeing like these blue and red lights, you know, from the police coming. I'm still covered, like I'm crying because I'm trying to resuscitate him because I didn't see any, you know, him breathing or anything. So I just know the regular officers came, then they called the detectives, and then they said DOA. So I'm like, DOA, you know, everybody watch enough crime shows and stuff to know that that's dead on
Dead
arrival.
on arrival, yeah.
Exactly. So when I heard that, I just started crying. I'm like, what are you talking about, dead on arrival? Like, and I couldn't really see because I didn't realize at the time that both my eyes were black. You know, my mouth, you know, I was completely messed up. So the ambulance, I could just remember them saying like, "Look, we gotta fix you. We gotta look. You look bad. Like we have to fix you. You need stitches and things." But it's not registering like dead. Like what do
You're
you mean?
like, wait, deal with me later. Like, what are
Exactly.
y'all talking about? DOA.
Thank you. Oh, I do apologize. A call was trying to come
You
in.
are fine. You are fine.
All right. So from there I'm like, you know, I'm okay. Like he's on the floor, he's not moving. Y'all talk about DOA, do some CPR, something. Like what are you talking about? You know, it still wasn't registering to me. So, you know, in the long run, they ended up taking me to the hospital and everything. And after they patched me up, gave me some stitches and stuff like that, they told me that they had to take me in. And I'm still not registering. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you have to take me in because they like, look, he died. But I'm like, from what? I just remember him having a knife. I'm trying to defend myself. I don't. I'm still not understanding what's happening. So to make a long story short, you know, I end up doing 9.5 months in jail on Rosie's Rikers Island. I'm quite sure everybody, you know, if you heard about New York City, you know that's a terrible jail. But I had to go to jail for 9.5 months. They charged me with murder too, and pretty much after fighting my case, they acquitted me of all charges because they see I had order protections on him. I had restraining orders. I went to a domestic violence shelter. I did all the paperwork and everything that I needed to do. And, you know, they got my hospital records. Once they seen everything, you know, they acquitted me of all charges. And the crazy part, New York City does not have a self-defense law. So I'm the first girl in New York State to pretty much beat a charge like that under called justified. Yeah, it's something. I know, deep. Right.
So let me start from the end and work my way up to the beginning.
Sure.
You got all this stuff on this man. I mean, I'm talking restraining order. I'm talking paperwork. All this stuff on this man, and they still took you to jail for how much?
Yeah. Due to the fact, well, New York, I don't understand why. You can hit me, I can hit you, we can fight, we're both going to jail. It's still no self-defense law, which is amazing. And the crazy part, when it comes to domestic violence, I honestly feel that they failed me because the times that, you know, I was in a hospital, I would make like a report.
Why didn't they arrest him?
That's the thing. They will arrest him and they will let him right back out. And then when they let him right back out, I would get beat even worse. So I really felt like they failed me, but then, which I understand because the life was taken, but they waited until it led to that for me to be
That's
put in.
what I was about to say. So a life had to be taken before somebody got some serious time. But if they would have just done their job in the beginning,
Exactly.
and like told him like, yo, if we find out you went back over there to her, we're putting you in jail for some serious time.
Mm-hmm. And the crazy part, they was trying to offer me 10 years.
But
10 years. So I remember fighting back and forth because I've never been arrested for anything. I've never committed no crimes. Like I said, I just finished college. Life was going good. So to be placed in jail and then to go back and forth to court and they're like, oh, murder too, murder too. And I'm like, what? I was fighting for my life. How the heck murder?
yeah,
And
how am I getting murdered too for fighting for my life?
exactly. And then after that they tried to what do they call it? Tried to get me for manslaughter. And I'm like, I'm not taking any of this because if y'all would have arrested him and did everything that y'all was supposed to do with all the paperwork that I had, I would have never been put in this situation. But they kept letting him out, even me being hospitalized, having stitches, all of these things. They would let him right back out, get beat again, back in the hospital. It's so bad, like the emergency room where I was going, they started knowing my face. It's ridiculous. And then they would not keep him in jail. And then you keep me in jail for 9.5 months. It's like the system is just like, I don't understand it.
The system is jacked up.
They always wait until someone end up dead before they react instead of being, trying to de-escalate things, or, they always wait until it's too late. And I'm a victim for that. I mean, I'm a survivor now because I've survived it, but I still feel like I was a victim due to the fact I was a victim of being in a domestic violence situation, and then I'm reaching out for help, and I was not getting no help.
Well, let me first start it off by saying this. I apologize to the upteenth degree that the system failed you the way that they did, because they definitely failed you.
Yes.
They dropped the ball big time.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, it kind of reminds me of the story of Joseph, where Joseph looked at his brothers and said, y'all meant this for bad. God turned it around for my good.
Mm. Yeah, it's the world
The
we in.
joy that you get from it
Yeah.
is crappy that you had to go through it. But it's like now that you done came through it, you can help others that are going through that same thing.
Yeah. And this is why I try to, it's not a encouraging story. Yes, it's bad that someone had to lose their life, but the reason why I like to tell my story due to the fact there's people out there, men and women, because not only women go through this, men and
Mhm.
women that go through these things, and they're scared to reach out to someone, or they're scared to call the cops, or scared to just even speak on what's happened, and due to the fact of embarrassment, or they don't know how to deal with this. So the reason why I do this is because, like, I am a survivor. I'm still here. I could have been the one. The shoe could have been on the other foot. I could have lost my life. I was reaching out for help. I was doing all the necessary things. But look, the God we serve is a strong and powerful God. And look, he took me out that situation. And I am still here to warn others. If you see any red flags, anything, go, leave, please.
Yeah. Don't think that it's don't think it's something cute like, oh, they just love me, that's why they do that. No.
Mm, nope. It's, yeah, like I said, I'm living proof of, what can happen. And like I said, it took me years. Oh, that's another thing I just wanted to touch on. Therapy. You know how some people, oh, you got to be crazy and all that. No, therapy helped me out tremendously dealing with a situation like this. Sometimes, you could talk to friends, family, and loved ones, and you might not want to tell them anything because you know them. And I still get therapy, not just to have someone to talk to, just to sometimes, as a mom, a wife, and just daily living. Sometimes you
You
just,
need that therapy.
yeah, you want to turn certain things off and just talk so someone can have that ear to listen. So that's another thing that helped me, going to therapy, and that helps as well. Like if you're going through, anything traumatic, not just domestic violence, that helps.
For real. Like, I'm a definite prescriber of Jesus and therapy.
Hmm.
Come on. You need both. And another thing I'm a prescriber of is a gym. every Saturday morning, I'm up at 6 a.m. I'm heading to the gym because I know ain't nobody really there at that time. I put my earpiece in, my headphones in, and I'm going to work because I'm like, this is my moment to where I don't have to be weapon lover at this moment. I can just deal, like, let out all my aggression, let out everything, leave it there, then come home and be like, all right, now let's conquer the rest of this weekend. Let's go.
That's right. And I 100% agree with that, because before I do anything, I don't know if anyone believe in, but I know that the God we serve is a powerful God. I always thank him before
Hmm.
anything. I try to say prayers before I drive, before I leave, ask God to
Come
shield
on.
me. And I thank him every day for waking me up. And then, from there, then I began my daily living and, motherhood and things of that nature. So, you have to have a strong belief for the Most High God as well. So,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
mm,
Like, without him, you wouldn't even been able to make it out of your situation that you made it out of.
yes,
Legit.
yes.
So, okay, next, I'm gonna ask you, what lesson did you learn from surviving that you carry with you today?
So the lesson that I feel like I've learned is, what can I say that I learned from this lesson? So I can say that I learned strength from this. I've learned to, one thing now, like before, I used to kind of not never be shy, but I wouldn't speak on certain things. You can't get me to shut up now. So now it's like, I'm very outspoken. Um, what else? Like, I don't know. I just got closer to the Most High God behind this. I've actually learned strength, faith, and just, whenever you feel like you're going through something, to talk to someone. So those are the three things I can honestly say I've learned from going through this. And then if I see red flags in a relationship, I'm running. I'm not taking time to go through anything else or give chances. I'm out of here. I mean, I recently just got married, and I thank God for that. And my marriage
So,
has a full understanding of what I've been through. He has so much patience with me with everything. And, he stands by me. So that's another thing that I've actually learned too. Even though you go through things in life, don't let that hold you down. As long as you have
like that.
God and you have strength, you're good. Keep on moving.
I like that. What I like is you didn't allow that situation to determine your ultimate destination. It
Mm,
was a roadblock, but you kept on going straight ahead. You kept on moving straight ahead
yes.
because some people would have allowed that to stop them from getting married again. They
Mhm.
would have said, I can't trust a man anymore. But you like, no, I can still trust one. I just couldn't trust that one.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So how did that experience change your life and what is truly important and change your value on what is important?
So, how did it change me? Well, honestly, I pay attention to things more now. I take time, and honestly, like if I'm unsure about things, and I don't mean to keep, getting into, faith, but I try to pray more often with things to see if, Most High can send me signals if I'm doing the right thing. So it changed me as far as it honestly, to me, it made me a more positive person. This negative thing that happened to me, I turned this negative into a positive. It made me become a better mother. It made me take better steps with just life in general. And I touched out with a lot of things.
So what is a common myth about survival? A common myth about survival.
A common myth. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't have an answer for that.
Right. What are some moments or memories from that experience that stand out with you the most?
From being abused. So the bad memories that I had was having to cover up things. That was like very traumatic for me due to the fact that I'm going to school and I'm going to work, and I knew people was they knew what was happening, but a lot of people are not going to actually ask you. So that was like embarrassing for me. I don't know. That's pretty much it. I just drew a blank. I'm so sorry.
No, you are good. You are good. You are good.
hmm
So how was you able to manage still raising your kids through that situation?
Okay, again, so one thing I did notice after going through that situation, I was very overprotective of them.
Of course. I think anybody would be.
Yes, and that's what led me to go to therapy, because I didn't want to be too overprotective to where I didn't let my children have their own independence and thoughts on life. And because one good thing I can say, when I went through what I went through, they didn't witness it. They just seen the aftermath. So that's pretty much it. Like, just with the children and the therapy and actually talking to them more, because before that I wouldn't say how can I explain it? You know how you talk to your children, but it's, hey, have a good day in school. It's more of like a high and by thing. Y'all sit and talk time to time, but never. Now I would actually sit down and talk with them. Hey, how are you? What's going on? Just to see how they're feeling, because I didn't have that at that time. So I think that's what made me become a better parent.
I like that. I like that. So you became to them what you wish you had.
Yes, because my parents were there, but as adults, when you move out, you don't communicate with family as much as you should. Like, you have family functions and things like that
Yeah.
other, but living it under one roof, sometimes work, school. You're never really, conversing with each other. So that's something that I'm real adamant about that. Like with my children, because my twins now, my twin boys is 19, my daughter, she's 14, and then I have a 5-year-old. So even though we
So
all,
you basically started over. You got 19, 14, and then you went back to 5.
yes, that's the new marriage, baby. So from there, it's like I just try to really have a strong friendship with them, as well as be their parent, because sometimes you have parents, and this doesn't apply to mine, but this is just a general statement, that you love them, but you don't feel like a friendship bond with them. And
Right, right, right.
my children, and I'm very thankful that they're, whenever they go through things, whether it's good or bad, they're comfortable enough to come talk to me, and that's what I love.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing. So what advice? This is the last one I'm gonna ask you, and then I'm gonna give you what we call the will talk moment,
Okay.
which is where we give you your spotlight and I give you your chance to shine.
Okay.
So, what advice would you give to others facing similar challenges or traumas?
What advice I would give that pretty much going through this?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so again, anyone that's going through this, please do not feel embarrassed. Things happen in life sometimes that we may not understand or we may not want to happen. But what I feel, just again, reach out to someone that you feel that you're comfortable with, or even if it's that bad to where you was going through what I was going through, reach out to the police. They have Safe Horizon. Do what you need to do for you and yours, and just to make sure that you're safe and okay.
That's that's good right there. That's good. So
Mhm.
now we're gonna give you what is called the will talk moment,
Mhm.
which what that is you got as much time as you want to
Mhm.
encourage somebody, to continue to encourage them, tell them where they can find you at, and tell them what you have coming up next. And the spotlight is on you.
Again, I'm Unique from Brooklyn, New York. I would like everyone to please follow me on my Instagram. It's unique_QuanaQ. I also have another business Instagram, which is Unique Top Notch Entertainment. And that's also my Facebook is Unique Quana Lewy. I just want to let you know that I have a book coming out. I did an urban fiction book that should be released by next month, but my story, I'm Still Standing. I'm still currently working on that. That should be out by next year. So please like, follow, and words of encouragement for anyone that may be going through this. Again, do not feel embarrassed. Do not feel like no one is there. I went through this. I'm there. If someone needs to talk, inbox me. I've been through this. I'm here. So please, again, I thank you all for watching me, and thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem, no problem. Thank you again for coming on. You're definitely coming back as the author. I'm gonna get you back on here as the author, and we're gonna have more of a not so heavy of a discussion. And I got you, I got you.
Thank you
So
very
we'll be in contact on that. And you all, once again, we thank Miss Unique for coming on and sharing with us her testimony and letting us know how that we can survive any of the situations that we are going through. So we appreciate her. You all, you have a couple of weeks until January the 1st hits and the voting starts for your Golden Triangle Music Awards, where I am nominated for Content Creator of the Year. You can go over there and vote as many times a day as you would like. Once again, to the Golden Triangle Music Awards, we appreciate the nomination. You all go on over there and vote, 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 vote. Voting starts on January the 1st, 2025. There will be more information said on the Facebook page as the time comes. And as I always say as we close out, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments, meaning some things that we looking at is bad. God is only turning it around for our good. Stay blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. I'll see you all next week. Peace. What is up? What is up? What is up? Everyone, everyone, everyone. It is another day, another time, and another week for yours and my favorite, and I do mean favorite, Monday night show. And I'm talking about We'll Talk Monday. You all, I am hyped tonight. We have this phenomenal powerhouse up in the building with us tonight. You all, literally, this little intro I'm about to give her does not do her justice. This woman has written 4 books. She is a singer. She has lived in Jamaica, and she is big on people finding their purpose. And also, she's working on a new project right now. So what I want y'all to do is welcome to the stage my new friend, Miss Rachel Burrell. So what I want y'all to do is, as this theme song, as her countdown is playing, I want y'all to like, I want y'all to share, I want y'all to tag, and tell everybody that We'll Talk Monday is on. And yo, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, I'll deal with y'all later. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I ain't gonna ask y'all no more. I'm done fooling with y'all. I'm done. I'm done. Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
Feeling fantastic.
How are you? It is so great to have you on.
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm excited about having you on here. Like, I have been excited ever since you said you would come on here. I've been hyped about having you on here. So what I want you to do is tell my audience a little more about yourself, because I just gave them a brief synopsis or overview, if you will, of you. So tell them a little more, and then we're going to jump into this conversation tonight.
Awesome. So I consider myself an artist, because I think an artist is someone who creates but also appreciates creations as well. As for me, the way that I create is I write. I write poetry, I write songs. I've written 4 books to date. I sing. I haven't been singing as much since the pandemic, but I have a reawakening lately where I've been just like on a writing spree. So I feel the music coming, the music is bubbling up inside, but I sing as well. I got involved in musical theater in junior high school, and that just like awakened something in me. I currently live in New Jersey. I've been here for like 9 years. Born in Menominee, Wisconsin. Don't ask me how that happened. Lived in Jamaica, the country, for 10 years. And here I am now. So that's what's going on with me.
So you was literally born in Wisconsin.
Literally born in Wisconsin and left at 2 years old. So know nothing about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because there ain't too many black people that was born in Wisconsin.
There's some in Milwaukee, but not where I was born. In Menominee, it was like, we probably were the only ones, realistically.
But hey, you made it out of there. You made it out. That's the main
Made it
thing.
out. We made it out.
So we're about to jump into this conversation tonight. And with you being big on people finding their purpose, and we are still in our I Survived It series of this. So like I really believe little I will tell you, did this series a while back and did it for a couple of months, and I thought I was done with the series. I'm like, okay, bet I'm done. But it was like every guest that I would have on after I did that would still be talking, have some kind of survival story that they dealt with. And I was like, you know what? Okay, God, I'm hearing you. I'm not done with this series. Let's pick it back up. Maybe this is where the show is headed now. Maybe this is going to be more of a survivors telling their story type of show.
Yeah.
So let's go with it. So when I say I survived it, what comes to your mind?
Oof. The ups and downs, the ups and downs, the ebbs and flow of life, the unpredictability of life, But I think what you just said is so powerful because we all have a story. And a lot of times we might be unwilling to share it because we think we're the only ones. We think no one's going to understand. I'm the only one who could possibly understand this. But once we tell our story, we realize there are other people that start to raise their hand and they're like, I felt that before. I've been through that before. And this is how we help to heal each other through being able to communicate with each other and relate with each other. Because honestly, one of the worst things is to feel alone. One of the worst things is to feel alone, to feel like no one would understand and that you're the only one who's gone through something. And I think you're right. Like that's God speaking to you and saying, like, go on down this path, keep going down this path, because a lot of us are out here survivors. And not only that, a lot of us, you wouldn't be able to tell, because we might have to go into the workforce or wherever and put on a smile. We can't, people, in certain environments, they don't want to hear about the baggage. Or it's like get down to business. We can't focus too much on what you're going through. We have a bottom line that you've got to meet here. And so to be able to have this outlet where people can just talk and relate is really important.
I agree because I kid you not, when I put on some different podcasting groups looking for guests with powerful survival stories, when I tell you the interaction that I got back from people that was like, I've been waiting to tell my story. I would love to tell my story. I would love to tell my story. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
All of these people have us. Okay.
It's true. It's true. And like I said, sometimes you never know it from looking at a person. Because I think, like, by nature, I like to be laid back and create a pleasant environment. So sometimes even when I'm going through something, I still might be able to crack a joke or just, do something that's not super heavy all the time. And so someone might not be able to know, like, in fact, when I wrote my book, Journey to Purpose, I got really candid about some things. And some people were just like, I had no idea. I would have never known this was going on. But there are pros and cons to that. I think that I've been sort of used to handling things for myself and on my own a lot of times. But the thing is that it's really important to open up too, because sometimes people want to be there for us. They don't know what's going on, so they can't be there for us and how they might want to be there for us. So I think that's also another reason why it's important to share our story too, as much as we feel comfortable sharing.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%. So now at this point, we're gonna give you the floor to tell whatever survival story that you might have.
Hmm. Okay.
So the floor is yours.
Okay. So, I mean, I could talk about what's happened recently. That's still so fresh. I might get into that, but I want to talk about how I initially, got into the arts. I say a lot of times that, like, yes, God is ultimately the reason that I'm still here. And God allowed me to get into the arts so that I could find that sense of purpose and belonging. Because I say around 11th grade, a lot was happening on a personal front. We're moving back and forth, um, from one place to another. I pretty much have lived in every borough: Queens, Bronx, Brooklyn, but it was just a tumultuous time. And I just remember feeling really depressed. And depression isn't something that's, I think now people are speaking about it more, thank goodness, and people speak about mental health a lot more now. But I know in my family and in a lot of Caribbean cultures, you just don't talk about certain things. And so I was like, man, super, super just depressed, feeling like, what is life? But also, I have a mom who is really deep rooted in God. So even in my worst, I still was always holding on to like some piece of God and faith. But I accidentally stumbled one day into these auditions. My high school was a very artsy school, but I never really paid attention. I would just whatever. And one day I was passing by and they had auditions, and I just on a whim auditioned and got in the ensemble. But that was the turning point of me starting to find my voice, right? And feeling a sense of belonging, like, okay, I have something to look forward to. Because when you feel like you have nothing to look forward to and nothing to contribute, that's when the devil starts talking to you. You're right. He might start telling you some things like, you're worthless. Look at you. You serve no purpose. This is why I'm so big. This is why I'm so big on purpose. Like finding something, anything that makes you feel some sense of joy. It could be writing, it could be photography, it could be, sewing, drawing, anything. Um, but that was the first point where I would say I overcame something. Like junior year of high school, I was like at my wits' end. I'm ready to just throw in the towel, even before I could diagnose, like I said, what that was, because we didn't talk about certain things growing up. And then now recently, um, I had 2020. I had like a crazy, the pandemic sort of was like a upheaval for a lot of people, including me. I'd been at my job close to 5 years in sales prior to that. And when the pandemic happened, I was let go, and I didn't see that coming because I'd been there for so long and I put in so much of myself there. Um, and it was at that point that I was, decided, okay, I'm not going to jump right back into corporate. I'm going to start writing. Because one night I was laying in bed and ideas just started flowing, flowing, flowing. So the first short story that I wrote is called Memories That Linger. And it opens, it's 12:27 a.m. And that was the time where I was literally laying in bed and the ideas started flowing. So that's how I opened it. So from there, I just started writing, writing, writing. And finally getting back to a place of like, okay, things are starting to feel, quote, normal again. And I just recently went back into corporate in October. And so I'm like, okay, and everything's, flowing. Everyone's getting along. Like I'm loving the team. And like everything's great. And on January 5th, I was doing my usual routine. Usually on Sundays, I retwist my locks, and I'm a sports fan. So it's been, I'll go watch basketball or football, but I was, finishing up my locks, and the phone rang. And um, the person who called me, I'm like, usually I don't get this kind of call on a Sunday. So I immediately sort of had my guard up, and I answer the call, and the person on the other end tells me, your father is, we found him. and he's not breathing, and at that point they're telling me 911's on the way and all of that, but deep in my heart I already knew, even though I already instantly knew that, okay, like the 911's coming and they're gonna try, but there's something instinctive about me where I kind of like sense certain things, but so I will say right now I'm still in a survival mode while surviving, because when you go through something like that, it instantly changes you, because it's like a piece of you went as well. um, so I immediately started writing again, and the first thing that I started to write are songs. I've been writing songs. I've been writing a lot of songs, and my dad had one of the most beautiful voices ever. Like like when you want to talk about someone hitting a mean falsetto, like he could hit a mean falsetto, and I think that's for sure one thing that I got from him. This love for singing and music, and I said both of my parents are creative people, but that voice that he has is like top notch, So I think when I talk about when you go through certain things, especially when they're unexpected, because this is like totally unexpected. It's totally not something that I was like, okay, maybe some people have, and some people do have an opportunity to prep for certain things. Maybe, they don't know the exact day, but they know something's happening. And I was just completely just not expecting this. So I think when you go through certain things, it's like you're at a turning point, because every day I wake up and I'm thinking and replaying certain things, but also it's ignited something in me to be like, well, I've got to see through whatever goals and dreams that I had. I've got to like see it through now more than ever. And now more than ever, I'm like not only telling myself, you've got a purpose and things to do, but I want to go out and tell other people that you've got things to do. Like, you were here in this time and place for a reason, and it could go just like that. So don't take it for granted and just assume like, oh yeah, there's tomorrow. And we've all been guilty of that. There's tomorrow. But the thing is that we've got to get to a place where we start focusing on the present and the here and now, and what can I do now, and what kind of impact do I want to make, what kind of impact do I want to leave. But when you go through something so traumatic, it's either going to destroy you, or you've really got to look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm going to survive. I'm going to survive. I'm not going to let this. Because I was just telling my mom, like today, like it's heavy, like, because the thing is, you start replaying certain conversations, you start replaying the last conversation, you start, maybe blaming yourself for certain things, even if it's justified or not. There are these things that happen. So sometimes, even as the storm, you're in the middle of the storm, you just got to keep doing everything in your power to keep your head above water until it recedes, and that's what I tell everyone is that, I think everyone knows that there are ups and downs in life, and some of us, have experienced more than others in terms of certain things, but at the end of the day, um, we make up our mind. We tell ourselves, like, I'm going to survive this, and I'm going to use this to be better and to do more for myself, but for those around me, you know?
You said so many powerful things right there. There's so much I could pick up on that. But one I really want to pick up on was where you said you can survive it, or you can let it take you out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are going through survival mode,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not really sitting there and dealing with their emotions.
Yeah.
They think pushing the emotions behind them, pushing the feelings behind them is how they're surviving it. No, because the more
Mm-mm.
you push them behind, it's gonna be like a ton of bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you keep pushing it behind, all it's gonna take is one little bitty thing. And it can be the smallest little bitty thing, and you're gonna boom explode. And
Yeah.
everybody else is gonna look at you like, why are you exploding off of that one little thing? That one thing wasn't that bad. And
Mm-hmm.
in all honesty, it wasn't even that one thing that made you explode. It was because you done held this in for so long that that one thing was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Exactly. No, you're like spot on, because the thing about it is I have been like really private about my family. Like, you, I don't even think I have any of my family posted on any of my social media, and it's just the only thing that's super sacred to me that I share is my art. And it's because I know the healing power of art and how transformative art could be. But this, I realize even with this, I I have to, like, I have to talk, because you're right. My initial, there are moments when I do try to escape, because otherwise it's like a balance, you know, because I don't want, when you like think about certain things too much, it can consume you on the one hand. On the other hand, you don't want to completely run away from it. You have to address it. Like, even if I put on like music to tune everything out, or watch like some of my favorite shows, my mind still goes back to everything. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me take these headphones off. Let me and just sit and like feel what I'm feeling. And you're right, you do have to address it, because it's like, no matter, it's going to remind you anyway. It's going to surface anyway, like you just said. At some point, it's going to come spilling over. So you might as well just sit with it. But it, like I said, to me, it's a balance, because I mean, if you just spend like all day, like, okay, man, like, oh man, life sucks. I'm like, really, you know, that could be dangerous too. So it's like a word that's something that I try to live by is balance. And I've always tried to live by this. Like, you know, everything's about balance. Anytime you overdo one thing, it's a problem. Anytime you underdo something, it's a problem. But I agree with you. You have to face it. You have to sit with that hurt, because it is gonna hurt. It is gonna hurt, and sometimes for a long time.
One of my favorite movies uh, growing up, and as I've gotten older and I watch it, this one liner was so powerful. It was The Lion King,
Mm.
where Simba had been running away from his past for so long, and Rafiki hits him with the
Mhm.
stick. And he said, "Why did you do that for?" He says, "It doesn't matter. It was the past."
Mhm.
And Simba tells him, "Yeah, but it still hurt." He
Mhm.
said, "Oh, yeah, the past can hurt, but you can either learn from it or you can run from it."
Mhm.
When I was a kid, that one line didn't really hit me as hard. But now
Mhm.
that I'm an adult and I'm 35 years old, I'm sitting there with that one liner and I'm like, dang, that was a word. You can either
Mhm.
learn from it or you can run from it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And once we learn from it, this is where the sharing of the story and the testimony is important, because someone else, you know, we've been in the middle of the storm and we're maybe finding our way out of the storm, and someone else just entered their storm, and they need to know and see examples of someone who overcame. This is where I talk about, a lot of times people feel alone. Like, I'm the only one who feels this. Why me, God? Like, why me? Why are you, why, you know? And the thing about it is, certain things you can never understand until you've gone through it. And so if you're someone who's gone through something, it's really important for people to see that you can overcome, and it doesn't have to completely destroy you. This is why I love reading autobiographies. And I just, you know, you always, like, people always have this story of you, that turning point, like you mentioned, where they've been through this thing and it could have destroyed them. You know, the pastor's like, hey, hey, and it tries to remind you, you remember how horrible you are? Remember when you did this thing? Remember when that happened? Or, you know, and you're right. It's like you're at this turning point where it's like, okay, am I gonna, you know, keep, or
One from my past, all my learning from it.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
So
for
spot
sure.
on.
So for me, Here's another question I got for you. I know you're an artist and
Mhm.
you're a writer, but what else is there that you do that kind of helps you? Because I know you also said you love watching sports.
Yeah.
Like, do you play or are you more of like a you watch?
I don't play. In high school, I used to play volleyball. Um, but no, now I love sports, and it's kind of funny. Whenever I tell people like, don't call me on a Sunday. Now you can call me on a Sunday because football is
Wait, wait, wait,
over.
wait, wait. Did your team win? Did your team win?
Out of the two, I was rooting for the Eagles. Out of the two, but
Me and
that's
you are right here because I
yeah,
was rooting for the Eagles too.
yep. Out of the
My
two,
number
this
one
one.
team is the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, I know. I literally was so hurt. I literally was saying I feel like it would have been a lot more competitive if Baltimore was in it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, and I wanted Derrick Henry to win, but that's yeah, another story. So I
Yeah.
was hurt. I was hurt.
Yes. So okay.
But yeah, I love sports, and I love old school nostalgic like shows and sitcoms. So no lie, I've been watching Saved by the Bell reruns, Xena.
What you know about Saved by the Bell? What?
Oh man, I'm telling you, Xena, Saved by the Bell. I've just been on an old school binge lately, but no, I just love those type of nostalgic type of feels. But yeah, I enjoy stuff like that. I enjoy sports, and I enjoy just going to check out other artists. A lot of times I'll go to an open mic and I won't even hit the stage at all. I'll just sit back and enjoy what everyone else is doing, and that's fulfilling in and of itself. So if I'm not performing, I'm just as fulfilled, like uh, listening to someone else.
Yeah. See, I'm the same way as a preacher. Like, there's sometimes where, like, even if I'm not preaching,
Hmm.
if I know one of my good friends is ministering and preaching, if they right in my area and I'm not doing nothing that night, guess what? I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna support them. And
Hmm.
9 times out of 10, I'm trying to sit in the back to where like I'm not called upon and I'm not seen. I'm sitting in the back. Like,
Exactly.
literally, this is so funny because I went New Year's Eve
Hmm.
to a service. Good
Hmm.
friend of mine was preaching. So me and another friend of mine was like, all right, let's just go. Let's just
Hmm.
go. Did not tell him I was coming. I just pulled up. We get there and the service had just got started.
Hmm.
So me and my friend walk in. The pastor spots me and he spots me. And both of us,
Oh.
come here, come here. I'm like, dang. So I walk up and I'm trying to sit down where the other ministers are sitting at. The
Mhm.
pastor looks at me. He said, get right up here, right on like the front row, right by
Mhm.
your good friend. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to sit back in the back, not be seen, just chill
Mhm.
for the night. I'm not trying to be up front, but
Yep.
it's one of those things where for me, I don't have to be in the spotlight.
Mhm. Yeah.
Watching somebody else shine and watching somebody else get an opportunity to spread their gift and share their gift, I'm rooting for them harder than I'm rooting for myself.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, that's what it's about. It's like we're here like to community is important. And I think that's one thing that it's interesting because I think it depends on where you grow up here. So I would say like growing up in New York is pretty much where I grew up because I came back from Jamaica at 12. We moved there when I was 2 and we came back here at 12, and I went to junior high, high school, and college in New York. So it's interesting because there is a sense of community. In Jamaica is very different. Like people have their front doors open and you just could like walk inside someone's house and everyone knows each other. But so that's sort of the train of thought that I still have and carry with me, the sense of community and camaraderie. And it was very important. Like it goes back to again the importance of sharing our story. It's like we need each other. You know, there are certain paths that we do have to walk alone. Um, sometimes we're forced to walk them alone, or sometimes we choose to walk alone. That in that moment it might be better, but ultimately, like, we need each other. That this is why God created people and different types of people and different personalities. Like, we need each other. And so I just think, like, going back to what you said, the supporting each other is necessary. You know, we don't need to be, there's enough for everyone to shine and win. And you know, I'm here for that. I'm here for that. And to be honest, that's a part of purpose. That's why purpose is so important, because when you have your assignment, when you step into that thing that you feel God called you to do, you don't have time to compete against the other person. Of course, you're going to support them because you're walking in your path, and now you want to either help them find their path, or if they found their path, everyone's in their lane. This is where the purpose is necessary and important. You don't have time to step on someone else's toe, or try to elbow them out of the way, because you already know that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. I agree with that 1000%. So, last question I have for you is I want you to leave my followers with some encouraging words. This is going to be called what we call the real talk moment, where you're getting to leave my followers with some encouraging words. And then I want you to tell my followers where they can find you at. Because trust and believe me, you're going to come back. I promise you that. We got to get you back on there. We have.
I
So tell
appreciate.
my followers where they can find you first off, and then leave them with some encouraging words.
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram, R the Storyteller, RTHESTORYTELLER, R the Storyteller. On TikTok, Pulse for Purpose. It should be the same name, I understand, but Pulse for Purpose, all one word, PULSEFORPULSE. And the encouraging word that I would say is to um, do it now. You know, there's this couple that I follow on TikTok, and one of the young lady, she had lost her brother, and the quote, he wrote a letter. I think he had a writing that she found, and it said 100% now, and that stuck with me. 100% now, meaning in this moment now that you have, give it 100%. 100%. Like, don't leave anything in the tank, because the thing about it is, what we're sure about is now. 100% now. What we're sure about is now. That's it. So prepare for tomorrow. Like, don't, just because preparation is key, but also, like, take the time to fully embrace the now, with yourself, with your friends, with your family, and just giving it your all now, here and now, being the best that you can be here and now, loving wholeheartedly here and now, being curious here and now, all of that, going after your dreams here and now, 100% now. That inspired me, and so I'm gonna leave it with y'all as well.
I love that. I love that. Go 100% now.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love
Mm-hmm.
that. So, as we always say, as we close out, sometimes our disappointments is nothing more than God's appointments. Sometimes what we're looking at is bad. God is only turning it around for our good. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. And Miss Rachel, we thank you once again for
Thank
coming tonight.
you.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. All right. See you all next week. Peace. What is up? What is up? What is up, everyone, everyone, everyone? It is another day, another time, and another week for yours and my favorite Monday night show. I'm talking about We'll Talk Monday. You all, you all, you all. Look, you all, tonight, mm, we have a legend, a boss. We have all of that combined into one up in the building with us tonight, you all. We are just grateful that she took some time out of her busy schedule to come in and celebrate with us and to give us one of her survival stories. you all, tonight, we don't just have a regular degular up in here with us tonight. We have an author. We have a minister. We have a legislative. We have someone with that is a in legislation advocate for breast cancer. We have just an amazing woman of God. I met this woman of God through some mutual friends that we have. And when I tell you, the first time I heard her story, she definitely touched me. So when God gave me the green light to continue with the I Survived This series until further notice, I knew I had to spin the block and grab her to get her story on Real Talk Monday. So to everyone, I want y'all to like, I want y'all to share, I want y'all to tag, and I want y'all to tell everybody and tell somebody that Real Talk Monday is on. Until the James H. Glover studio fam. I appreciate you all. I know y'all in the studio. I know y'all in the chat commenting. So I appreciate you all tonight. And at this time, I want y'all to put y'all's hands together for my friend, Miss Tayana, Minister Tayana Pear.
Hello, everyone. Reverend James, thank you so much for having me this evening. It is truly a blessing and it touches my heart. I've been grateful to be connected to you for years, and just the work that you are doing is just amazing. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be here to share my story, and I pray that the words that I share as the Lord leads me is a blessing to someone tonight or today or the noontime whenever you catch this recording. But I am truly grateful to be here.
And we are grateful to have you. Like I said, we've been trying to do this for a while. We've been trying to get something scheduled. And finally, our schedules collided to where we was finally able to make this happen. So at this time, what I want you to do is, I know I left out some stuff in your introduction. So I want you to kind of introduce yourself a little more to my audience, for the ones that may have been living under a rock for some years and don't know who you are. I want them to know that we got a legend up in the building tonight. So
Look, when you said that during my introduction, I said, oh my gosh, really? So anything, it just really touches my heart. I think a lot of times we do so much in life that we don't really stop to think about and reflect on how good God has been in our lives and how he's used us. A lot of times we are so humble and grateful because we truly some of us come from humble beginnings, and we find ourselves not feeling the right to sit and just reflect and be grateful for what God has used us to do. So I am, as he's mentioned, I'm Minister Tamia Pear. I am a sister, a friend, an encourager. I'm also a Washingtonian. I have a master's in mental health counseling. And what led me to that was because of the journey that I've gone throughout childhood. So my prayer was I've always been a leader since I'm the oldest of five. I've been like my mom's second hand. My mom, she called me her right hand man. But I have, since childhood, I've always wanted to help people. And so when I found my purpose, which was not easy, I had to go through fighting depression. I had to go through fighting through, raised without a dad, and that the struggles that comes with that as a teenager, as a child, and trying to find your way. So my prayer and my hope was, Lord, help me be that person or that encourager, that supporter, that nurturer that I needed. Allow me to be that for someone else. So that brought me to the mental health counseling piece. And I've been in my current career now for 7 years. I'm hopeful that I can retire from that position and continue to do the works that the Lord has allowed me to do. I am also an author, as it was mentioned. I shared my breast cancer journey in a book titled Walk by Faith, God's Divine Interception. And so that was a walk by walk. Some of the folks that have read the book, they said that it was as if you were walking with your friend. and the way the tone of the book, that was my prayer. Lord, I just want to make it easy for someone to understand, be it a male, female, a believer or non-believer. There are viewers who, or feedback that I've received from folks who are not Christians, who are also have walked away from the faith. So I wanted to, my prayer was that it reaches everyone, because that's how I am. I did not come into the faith with an idea of what I'm hoping to be, or I wasn't rushing after a platform or a title. It was just truly God's plan that had happened. And so I'm also an author, as I mentioned, and I just really have my hands in a lot of things. As I mentioned, I grew up in depression. And so I started a depression awareness walk over during the pandemic, and it was Cherish the Steps. And that was my plan with that.
Look, I'm learning some stuff, so I'm just sitting back like, okay.
Oh, no, I'm just grateful. And I tell God in 2019, this is my yes until I take my last breath. And I meant it. I answered my call to ministry in 2017, and it came unexpectedly. I started having visions and dreams of so many things. And I fought it because I did not understand that God really wanted to use a broken Tania, a broken me, a broken T. I didn't believe it. But he said, I will be your father. I'll perfect those things in you. I will give you the wisdom if you stay in my face, if you stay in prayer. And that has been my posture ever since. My heart was, Lord, I just want to learn who you are. I want to see and feel the love of who you are. I want to receive your teachings and I just wanted your wisdom. That was what I was after. And so I gained that and more. And I've just been active. I've been running ever since in the community. I'm also a member of First Baptist Church of Highland Park in Landover, Maryland. The pastor is Reverend Dr. Henry P. Davis III, and they have discipled me. When I tell you, especially even the women that gave my life to Christ, they took me under their wing. And so what you see today is because of who they are, who they have been in my life. So I'm grateful to be here.
Man. Okay. Now look, y'all. Y'all heard me say in the very beginning, we got a legend up in the building. And just in case y'all did not know why I said that, and if anybody don't know why I said that, just go back and listen to that intro again, because legit, my intro didn't even do her justice. Like, she is, like, from the first moment I've met her, she has been the same from day one. We can go months or years without talking, and it's like as soon as we connect again, it's right back like we never left. So that is what I always appreciate about her. But we about to get into this conversation, because I'm not even gonna call it an interview tonight. We about to have a conversation.
Ooh.
So when I say I survived it, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
It's a lot. And it's just to be able to pinpoint one thing is not easy. When I think about the phrase, I survived it, or the statement, I survived it, the first thing that came to my mind was the process of stretching, the pruning.
Say it again for the people in the back.
The processes of stretching. And the thing is, what I believe is, it doesn't just stop there. You're being prepared for another level of stretching, but you're gaining another level of wisdom, another level of to thrive, to push, to keep going. I honestly, I really sat with that statement. I could not think of just one thing, because there's so many that the Lord has helped me to survive, from breast cancer, from depression, from thoughts of not being here, surviving the being ostracized, being misunderstood, the inner me, the inner thoughts, the the negative thoughts, surviving so much that could have really just consumed Tania, consumed me, could have took the breath out of purpose, that could have kept my light dimmed. So I really can't, I would like have to sit for hours to figure out what really feels that statement, because it's an forever evolving moment of growth, a forever evolving moment of discovering another layer of yourself as God sees you. So I don't know. I survived the stretching.
That right there, like, I survived the struggle. That was it. Because what was meant to kill you, God used to heal you.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Because before, go ahead into your story, until you survive this story, because if we don't get started now, you already know we about to act up on it. So I'm going to let you, look, we going to be on it for hours, and then I'll be like, we didn't even get into your survive this story or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
So
during the pandemic in 2020, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was at the age of 32. I was just recently promoted at my job, and I've always had good health. I will hardly ever have a common cold. But that day, July of 2020, I received the call that I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was as if the world stopped. My body was there, but my mind was just, Lord, what is going on? What is this? I am 32 years old, never had children, never been married. I had yet to, let me fix my words. I had yet to have children or married.
Come on.
And there were so many.
Put that wording on there correctly. I haven't
yet, because there's still time. And so I just didn't understand it. And I lost 2 friends prior to that. And a family member passed away. And I literally asked this question, God, where are you? This was in the middle of the pandemic as well. And so I went to the doctor, and I had several, tests and everything. And I went through that first week was it was a rough week. I cried out. I asked God, why me? Why would you allow this to happen to me? And I think a lot of times, even then, I may not have, I didn't experience this, but I can imagine in moments like that, people may ask God, I've done everything right. I'm doing what you've asked me to do, or that I desire to do in pleasing you and honoring you in my walk and what I do with my life. And yet I have this thorn. Yet I have this struggle, and I'm seeing everybody else. That's why we can't compare ourselves to everybody, because everybody's journey is different. How it plays out is different. But I can imagine in that moment asking God, I'm doing everything right. Why are you giving me this cup? What is this for? What did I do wrong? And so I went through that week. But I will say that those months were the months that really stretched my faith. It stretched my obedience with God. I enjoyed being in the presence of God. I enjoyed prayer. But it took me directly to the throne often, more times than I was prior to that. But it helped me to build up in my faith. It helped me to really cry out to God and to be honest with God and my emotions, and tell him that I really don't understand why this is happening to me. But in all of this, the Lord allowed me to birth a book. He's allowed me to advocate for others. He's allowed me to even start up a ministry that we're still working on it. But it's his plan is not the way we think we're going to get to where the things that he has planned for us is not always how we expect it or we think. That's why we have to keep our hand in his hand. That's why we have to stay in his face, stay in prayer. And so for me, I've had 4 surgeries. I had one surgery another surgery last year. But in this time, it helped me to identify my strongholds. It helped me to identify some root challenges that I had since childhood. And some of these adjustments with my life, some people walked away. They walked away. Something that I prayed to God for, walked away because of this shift that I believe that the Lord had called me to for my life. I received the rejection because people just don't understand. I received the negative talk because people just don't understand. But when you have gone through so much in your life and you say, Lord, I am serving you until I take my last breath, it comes with that. It comes with that stretching. These are the stretching moments that I got to go through. And I'm okay with it. If it's honoring God and it's going to save someone else's life, I'm doing it.
Period.
So, period.
Man, you said so much right there. But I want to piggyback right here where you said that people walked away.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's what's needed.
Oh, yeah.
We are holding on to the very people sometimes that God is telling us to let go of.
Yes.
I'll give
Absolutely.
you a case in point. There was one friend that I've had for a while that she and I have been tight for years. You couldn't tell me that she and I wasn't going to be road dogs. Yes, we might leave out for a few minutes and do a thing, but we always came back and we was always tight. Nothing never changed. I was at church one day and randomly I looked down at my phone and I realized I had been blocked. Hadn't said anything, hadn't done anything, nothing. I was just blocked. And I'm like, God, why did I get blocked? God said, I had to block, allow them to leave. I had to allow them to dismiss themselves because you wasn't gonna do it. Because as long as you was in control, they still had that revolving door. They
Yes,
could
indeed.
come in and leave out, come in and leave out, because you were so connected to them. So what I had to do was I had to let them dismiss themselves.
Absolutely. I agree.
And that's
Can
the
I?
hard part.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely the hard part. But in those moments, once we get out of our emotions and get off of that hurt that they're gone, then God is able to show us like, this is why. And it makes, sometimes it's not always, I think a lot of times people have to be careful with that because pride will kind of rise up. And this is what I had to learn through that. The people that walked away or dismissed themselves, they're still God's children. They're
Amen.
still on their journey. But God, you allowed this to happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And if God didn't do it, we would have been stuck in our emotions and kept allowing them to come in and out, or to give the bare minimum, or, whatever it is that what could have been of that connection. We just have to understand that even in the dismissal, because there are times that God may have dismissed me out of somebody's life.
I know
But
he's dismissed me.
but I am so sure that what God allows is for his good. It is for a great reason, and sometimes a reason that we may not understand at that moment. So yes, some people did leave and dismiss themselves, but God reminded me of that village that he allowed me to stay with and who helped minister me through that. And I'm sure, your village ministered you through that, separation, because even a relationship, that's grief. And people think that grief happens only in a loss of a loved one, or it happens in relationships. It happens in friendships. And, so grief is it's shown in different ways. We should never just keep it in one place, but I'm grateful that, you know, the Lord allowed both of us, even in our different situations, to grow through that.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was one thing I always think of is God allowed them to dismiss themselves, or allow me to dismiss myself, and He had a plan for it all along.
Yes, yes, yeah. May I also share something in that piece?
Come on,
And so,
come on.
so like I said, in this the past 5 years, the Lord has been just really stretching me in so many different ways, even throughout the breast cancer. But in the most recent separation or dismissal, I mentioned that it revealed this stronghold that I had since childhood. It uncovered a veil or something that I did not mention to anybody, but that played a major role in how I operated in relationships because of what occurred during that time. And so the Lord revealed that to me in such a major way that I had to make a stance and say, Lord, I'm choosing you in this area. I'm believing you in this area. And so it's something that I have chosen to hold off on even until marriage. And the why in that stems all the way back in childhood. And everyone is not going to understand that. But I had to make this decision, which literally uprooted that stronghold, so that then I'm able to live in peace. I'm able to live in liberty. I'm able to live in, I don't want to say my own confidence, but in confidence, because what He
Come
has
on.
done
Come
in
on, Dad.
me has really helped me to see a life in such a beautiful way that I thought that I needed something or needed to do something in order for this to take place. And that's not true. So
I
yeah, it
think
will
so.
reveal some things.
I think sometimes also we look at relationships as they are never supposed to end. We look at it as, okay, this is supposed to be my person that I'm with forever and ever. This gonna be my bestie until the day that I die. This gonna be my wifey until the day that I die. This gonna be my husband until the day that I die. But here's the thing. Sometimes when people are coming into your life to teach you a lesson, they are coming into your life so that God can show you some things that
My
He
God.
was dealing with. And once He reveals it to you, He's like, okay, y'all's job is done. Now y'all can leave.
Mm,
And you sitting there like, wait a minute, God, they supposed to be. No, they served their purpose. The
yes.
problem
Yes.
is we have people around us that we have become comfortable with.
Mm,
That because we have become so comfortable with them, we've let them hang around for 25, 35, 45 years, running around doing the same thing. We know that it's not serving us anymore, but we're keeping them around because we don't want to hurt their feelings. At
right.
this point in my life where I'm at, look, I'm going in the direction that God wants me to go. If you with me, you with me. If you're not, sorry for you. Thank you for the lessons that you taught me on the way, but at this point, it's only up from here.
Absolutely. It's only, sir, it's only up from here. It's only up.
Right.
And I want to also share, getting to that space is not easy. It's not an overnight work. A lot of people want this quick growth, this quick pop, you know what they put popcorn, a quick instant reaction. It does not come that easy, because your past is always going to be at battle. Your past you, your old you, is always going to be at battle with your present
Come
and your future.
on.
Always. Okay, how much you think you've delivered? It's still going to be a battle to keep you stagnant.
Mm,
It's not easy. But
mm-mm.
every level of obedience, every level of sacrifice, every level of intentional living, every level of Lord, I surrender. You are taking one step. It doesn't matter how small, or even if you're walking in the same step. Sometimes we keep repeating the same cycles. But as long as you are intentional of, Lord, I surrender. Here I am. Then will you be able to walk in the fullness of God? Then would you be able to walk into that full chapter? This does not happen overnight, but every moment and chapter of the journey is because of what God has called you to, has called us to. There is someone else in that space, you're on chapter 15. Somebody is in a situation that happened on chapter 4 in your life. You have been developed and elevated and matured and spiritually stretched on your chapter 15 because that person in chapter 4 is still waiting. That person in chapter 4 is still struggling with addiction. That person on chapter 4 is still dealing with internal issues and not believing that God wants them, God loves them. There's someone on chapter 4 that's still waiting. But your journey had to be what it was because of where God is calling you. That's the impact. And that's what I'm looking for.
And here's the thing. As we get to our chapter 15, we have to be ready to help somebody that is in that chapter 4.
That's right.
Here's our problem. We live in a society of I got mine, y'all got to get y'all's. We don't want to encourage somebody because we want everybody to think that we are always so prim, proper, got it all together, all of that. No. Show them that you are jacked up, tore up from the floor up, didn't really even deserve to get up. And show them that, like, look, come see a man that healed me when I was broken. And if he did it for me, I know he can do it for you too.
Absolutely.
Look, you see, y'all, this is why it took so long to get her on here, because I knew she wasn't going to act right when she came on here. I already knew. There's some people that I'm like, God, you sure you want them on here? Because you know they ain't going to act right when they get on here. You know they're going to cut up. But it is needed. It is needed. It is needed. Tonight, it was needed. The way that this conversation went tonight, it's needed. Because it's going to help somebody else to show them that, like, look, okay, bet if they can be so transparent, maybe I can be as transparent as they are.
Yes.
Let me, okay, bet if they are preachers and they are doing all of these great things and they are not ashamed to tell others, like, look, I ain't always had it all together. And if the truth be told, I ain't got it all together right now.
Okay, like, do we need to review the morning time? It is an forever evolving work, a growth. It keeps growing and look, I'm not perfect. Nobody on this call is perfect.
No, it's like there's some stuff even from this morning that I'm having to be like, God, look.
Yes. But that's what he desires, our authenticity. Why hide your truth from a God who's all-knowing? Why hide your truth from a Father who loves you, who gave his only begotten Son? He loves you. Even he don't need you to be perfect. He's perfect. The perfecter doesn't need a perfected person. He needs one that's willing. He knows our flaws. He knows what we're going to say and do before we do it. He knows that, okay, Lord, I messed up. And I'm coming back with the same thing. Many times I came back with the same stuff because I'm still working. He's still working on me.
And here's the thing, when you went back to him with the same stuff, it wasn't a thing of, all right, now look, You just came back here with this. You just came with this about 10 minutes ago. Now you coming back with this same stuff again.
Mhm.
If you went to man about some of the stuff that you told God about,
Mm.
man would judge you. Man would
Yes.
count you out. Man
Yes.
would count you out, count you as nothing, count you as worthless,
Mhm.
write you off. But God
Absolutely.
is like, you know what? I got to work for them.
Yes.
Since they are not perfect, I don't need perfection,
Yeah.
but I need an imperfect body so that I could do a perfect work in them.
Yes. Yes. Progress.
Yes. And
I tell
here's the
people all
thing.
the time: progression over perfection.
Mm, let me tell you, a few months ago, I started back going to the gym. I had been going to the gym before that, and like I was pretty consistent with it. Now, the problem was when I went back a couple of months ago, I tried to get back at the pace that I was when I left.
Come
And when
on.
I tell you I struggled with that, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, God, look, it wasn't taking me this long to do a mile back in the day. And God is
Mm-hmm.
like, but you took a break.
Come on.
You fell off. And that's
Mm-hmm.
fine.
And that's
And as I was on that track, and I was running, I had to stop and take a break for a second. And as I was taking that break, I heard the Lord tell me, take a break if you must, but don't
Mm.
give up.
Come on. Come on.
When I tell you that thing messed me all the way up, take a break if you must, but don't give up.
But don't give up. Wow.
That's for somebody else out here tonight. Take a
Mm-mm-mm.
break if you have to. It's all right. Get you some sleep. Take you a break,
Yes. Yes. The
but pick it
stillness.
right
That's
back up. Pick it right back up and
mm.
keep going.
Wow.
I'm gonna leave it with this before I let this powerful woman of God close us out and give us a real talk moment and tell us where we can find her at and
Yeah.
give us a closing words. But I'm gonna leave it with this. I was told a story of an elephant and a kangaroo. The elephant and the kangaroo was pregnant at the same time. The kangaroo gave birth the first time to the first baby, then got pregnant again. And the elephant was still pregnant with that first one. The kangaroo gave birth to the second baby, then got pregnant again. And that elephant was still pregnant with that first baby. The kangaroo gave birth to that third baby, got pregnant again. Elephant still pregnant with that first baby. That fourth baby comes along and the kangaroo gets pregnant again. The kangaroo runs into the elephant and starts laughing at the elephant and
Mm.
said, you are still pregnant with something that I done gave birth 4 times and you still pregnant with your first. And the elephant looked at the kangaroo and said, what you don't understand is I'm giving birth to something that's gonna move mountains.
Oh
When
my
I
goodness.
give birth, it don't happen all the time. You giving birth is a common thing. Me giving birth, it moves mountains when I give
Yes.
birth.
Yes.
So it takes time. The
Mm.
world couldn't handle me giving birth as quick as you do.
Mm. That's
So I'm gonna
good.
let this powerful woman of God close us out tonight.
That's good. Wow. I am goodness gracious. When I tell you that that blessed me so well, and it reminded me of how society and people can be when they're watching you in labor while you're pregnant with the promises of God and what God has called you to do.
Mm,
What you're carrying is going to move mountains. It is heavy and it's going to shake up some ground. My God, like the
mm,
elephant. And
mm.
so you can find me. That just blessed me so good. Good gracious. Um, I am on Facebook, Tania Pear, Instagram, Tania Moniz. I'm not really familiar with the Twitter stuff, but I'm there as well. But you can most of the time you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. And you wanted me to give a closing word.
Yes, give them
Yeah.
some encouragement. Give them some encouragement.
Yes, absolutely. This is, and I'm just going to, go as the Lord leads me. We are truly in a time where everyone is just really asking God. We're going through some challenging times right now. But what I do believe is that the Lord is speaking to each and every one of us, just as He did the past 5 years. This is a time where you have to be sure that your yes is yes when it comes down to God. And in your yes, in your journey with Him, He's going to continue to deposit what He has for you and the word that He has for you in your belly, and for His people in His time. I'm just grateful to share a piece of my journey. And prayerful that it will help encourage someone, because someone somewhere is struggling between that space of, God, I need you. I want to learn who you are, but I'm wondering, Lord, do you even want to love me? Do you even have use of me? Is there even a reason of why I was even born? Sometimes some people have come through some challenging family dynamics or current dynamics where you're just wondering, God, am I even worthy of you speaking to me? Am I worthy of you even having your hand on me? But what I wanted to just encourage someone today to know that God has you here for a reason. There's breath in your body. There's life in your body for a reason, because there's someone somewhere who needs your word. There's a place in God where He's calling you to in Him, so you can understand who He is in your life. There's greatness in Him. There's wholeness in Him. There's grace. There's peace. There's joy. There's unspeakable joy. There's this just this peace that surpasses all understandings. There's things that I've gone through that I didn't even I can't understand. God, how am I being sustained in this? How am I being able to endure the challenges? It is because God said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. His hand will not lift up all for you, because you are His chosen child. You are His beloved. You are the one who He desires to. He breathes life into your body every single day. No matter what you are facing or what the world may have said about you, as long as you have His breath in your body, there's still a purpose and a reason for why you are here. Do not allow the voices of those in the faces of man to discourage you in what He has called you to, family, to discourage you from where He has called you to. There is purpose. There is a plan. There is a destiny that your name and His grace and His glory is written on, because this was all this is planned before you even came into this world. You will survive this, and you too will share another story. As I mentioned in the beginning, I could not pinpoint a specific area or moment in my life, because it feels like I've been surviving many things since childhood. But you will survive this, and you will testify of the goodness of the Lord in your life. You will be able to speak of His goodness even in this. So I pray that you understand and see that every day that you wake up, that God opens up your eyes, or that He gives you a feeling of the breeze of the wind. It's because His plan and His death, He was intentional about waking you up this morning. You have purpose and you have a plan that God is intentional about you fulfilling. And that is my prayer, my word to you.
Woo, you all. She's coming back. Trust and believe me, she's coming back. We gotta get her back, because we barely even touched the surface tonight. We barely even touched the surface. And conversations like this, it don't even feel like it's been 42 minutes.
Wow.
So what we're gonna do is, I thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. And as I always say, as I close out, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments. Meaning, some things that we're looking at is bad. God is only turning it around for our good. Stay blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. I will see y'all next week. Peace. What is up? What is up? What is up, everyone, everyone, everyone? It is another day, another time, and another week for yours and my favorite Monday night show. I'm talking about the award-nominated We'll Talk Monday on James H. Glover, the James H. Glover Studios. You all. Tonight, we are hype because tonight, you all, let me just put it like this. Before I even get into her accolades, because I mean, they like this long. So before I get into her accolades, let me just put it like this. The minute this young lady and I met up for a meet and greet to talk about even doing an episode, immediately our spirits connected. It was a God thing. Like literally, I think it was like 9 o'clock for me when we did our meet and greet. And normally by that time, I'm kind of almost tired. I'm a little tired, but she gave me life. She brought life back into it. So it's like, I'm excited about this interview tonight, you all. When she got finished, I said, I have to interview you. Yeah, it's a must. I have to. It has to happen. And you all, let me just go into her bio on tonight. All right. So, Dr. Alexia Harrigan, better known as Dr. Lexi, a powerhouse physical therapist, author, speaker, and founder of Pelvis Power PT, with nearly 2 decades of experience specializing in women's pelvic health, chronic pain, and ontology rehab. Dr. Lexi is also the heart behind Sunny with a Sense of Sours, a story of love, loss, and hope. A deeply moving memoir about navigating the unmanageable loss of her son and discovering the purpose through pain. Through her personal story and professional calling, Dr. Lexi's empowers women to reclaim their health, finding resilience through grief, and transform adversity into strength. So I want you all to like, I want y'all to share, I want y'all to tag, and I want y'all to help me welcome my friend, my homie, and a new family member of James H. Glover Studios, Dr. Lexi. Let's hear it for you all.
Hey, so glad to be here. So glad to meet with you and have this great
Now, we
conversation.
are
I'm
glad to
excited.
have you. We are glad to have you. So what I want you to do right now is, even though I done gave them that memoir about you, I want you to tell them a little bit more about you that I might have left out.
Oh wow. Yeah, so my I've been married for almost 16 years now to my wonderful husband Chad. And we had a wonderful, wonderful life with our son, Colin James, until he passed. And we actually also fostered two boys, ages 6 and 14, last year. And that was an adventure as well. Um, and thankfully, they were being able to be reunited with their mother. The original plan was adoption, but she was able to, do what she needed to do to get her kids back. So that was an incredible experience as well. um, yeah, I'm just really passionate about helping people and empowering people to be um, full with their purpose and not allow the circumstances of life to dim their light.
I like that. I like that. I like that. So you all, like I told y'all already see she's a powerhouse. I already told y'all that. So what I want you to do is, we about, like I told you in our meet and greet, this ain't a regular interview. We just gonna kick back and have a conversation. We're gonna have some fun tonight, all right?
Sounds good.
All right. So when I say I survived it, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Ooh, when I think about I survived it, I think about I think about sitting on the pew of a church, praying to God that He would allow me to die because the pain of losing my son was so great that I didn't want to live anymore. And it wasn't a very like emotional crying conversation that I had with God. It was a very matter of fact conversation of I'm a believer. I know I'm saved. I can die.
Yeah.
The next thing I'll see is Jesus and I get my baby back. Like for me, it was a win-win.
Yeah.
Um, and I heard very clearly the Holy Spirit say, no, I command you to live.
Mm.
And that was a very poignant turning point for me. Um, because I knew at that point that this grief journey, this loss was not going to be the end of my story. And how I survived um, is all in my book and also, you know, written in everything that I do um, because I refuse to let grief beat me.
I refuse to let grief get me. That right there, I refuse to let grief get me. Wow. Ma'am. Mm. So, okay. I want you to tell us like a story or something that you survived. I know that you already low key started it, but I want you to tell it a little bit more. Break it down to
Yeah,
the audience, and then we'll go into the conversation from there.
absolutely. So our son, Colin James, he was a wonderful, energetic, fun kid. Um, and then he got sick, regular things, fever and things like that. Took him to the doctor and they said, oh, it's just a virus. He'll be fine. And that was on a Monday. And by Thursday, he was gone. Turns out he had pneumonia and the doctors missed it. And in addition to the crushing grief of losing my 22-month-old son, he was here one day and gone the next. I was angry and just frustrated with just why would this happen to me? Why would this happen to us? Why would this happen to him? I was riddled with guilt. I felt like I was a terrible mother because I should have seen something. As a healthcare professional, I felt like I should have known, I should have seen something, I should have done more, said more.
Mhm.
Um, and through a lot of counseling, a lot of working through my questions with God and leaning on my support system and, you know, walking through this thing with my husband, I was able to survive and now thrive even through my grief journey. Because when you lose someone um, deeply, when you have a deep loss, especially loss of a child, and it could be loss of a parent, a sibling, a best friend, like grief is grief. If you lose someone significant, you're going to feel it and you're going to feel it for the rest of your life. And that's because the love is always going to be there. And someone said to me that grief is love with no place to go.
Mm.
And being able to being able to utilize the tools that I learned in my counseling and in with my community and allowing people to support me and just being honest in how I was feeling, it allowed me to be able to survive the unimaginable.
Whew. You said something right there where you said grief. Can you repeat that one more time for the ones in the back that may not have heard you? Where you said grief
Grief
is.
grief is like love with no place to go. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like the the object of your love is not there. And so you are left with your memories, and that can be really hard, especially when especially when it's untimely. Oftentimes, when it's someone older and, sometimes you can like, well, like my grandmother, it was that was the first time when I lost my grandmother, that was the first time I lost somebody that close to me.
Mm.
But she was 99, and so while I was hurt and it was hard and things like that, it was like, well, she's 99. Like, you can kind of start trying
Okay.
to,
Yeah.
wrap your mind around it and find acceptance in it. But when it came to my son, he was 22 months old. Like, parents shouldn't lose their children. There's not even a name for it. You have wives who lose their husbands, they're a widower, you're a widow or you're a widower if you've lost a spouse, you know, but there's no name for a parent who's lost a child because it just shouldn't be.
And that's real. It shouldn't. It really shouldn't. I've witnessed it where I haven't lost this out personally, but I know some good friends of mine that have gone through that. And it's like, at that moment, you don't even know what to say because it's like, what do I say to him at this moment?
The best thing, and I think a lot of people struggle with that, and I talk a lot about this in my book too. When you're trying to support someone who has lost a loved one, if you don't know what to say, don't say anything. It
That's real.
silence speaks volumes. I love you. I'm here. That's it. Because there's nothing you can say that's going to fix it. And sometimes we as believers want to sprinkle Jesus glitter on it.
Mm-mm.
We want to say, well, all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord. Well, we're going to see him when Jesus comes. And like,
That ain't
that's
helping me
all,
right now.
that's all well and good, but that ain't going to help me right now.
Right.
Maybe, I can hold on to, it's not that I don't know that. It's not that I don't believe that. I'm hurting now. It's okay for me to hurt now. And I think that because grief is uncomfortable, you know, heavy emotions are uncomfortable for other people. And so we want to fix it so that we don't have to endure the awkwardness,
That's it.
right? So we want to say, hey, it's going to be okay. You don't have to cry. You're going to see him, in the good getting up morning, but he's not here now.
Right.
So I should be able to cry now. And so when you're trying to support someone who's lost a loved one, it's okay to just let the space be. You don't have to say anything other than I love you and I'm here. That's it.
Because I can tell you, even as a preacher, I can tell you, there was the first funeral that I ever did was for my grandfather, and I was like a year and some change into my ministry. I didn't really get a chance to grieve the loss of my grandfather because it was like literally soon as he passed, okay, the other grandchildren got to grieve, but me on the other hand, I'm like, okay, let me go into preaching mode because I got to get this eulogy together. I got to make sure that everything is running smoothly. So when my grandmother died, I'll never forget it. The family wanted to put me as an alternate to do the eulogy. Her son was going to do it, but they was putting me as an alternate. And my father spoke up and he said, no, allow him to be a grandchild for once. And I'm in the back of my head, I'm like, I can handle it. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. He's like, you need to be a grandchild just like everybody else gets that chance. So literally, I'll never forget it. I'm sitting there at the funeral. They did visitation and funeral same day. I'll never forget it. Doing a visitation, I'm not even there really. I'm kind of running around, kind of trying to make sure everything else is taken care of, just so I don't have to deal with the fact of why I'm actually there. So then the funeral gets started. I'm walking in with my cousin. We walk in, we view the body. I get sat down on the front row right by the children because even though I didn't do the eulogy, I still had to do the prayer. I can handle that. So I'll never forget him. One of my cousins that's like a younger sister to me. Everybody else walked past me, patted me on my leg, and they're like, "We're praying for you. We're praying for you. We're praying for you." I got this strong look on my face. I'm like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." She didn't say two words to me. All she did was patted my leg. And literally at that moment, boom, I break down. All she did was very politely got behind me. She told one of my cousins that was sitting behind me, she's like, scoot over. Just scoot over real quick. Put her arms around me, allowed me to have my moment. Okay, cool. I'm good now. I don't have my moment. I'm good. Service is over. Eulogy been preached. I look back. Two of my younger cousins, bawling, crying. Well, at this point, I gotta go into big cousin slash big brother mode. So I go back at it where they at, kind of put my arms around them and allow them to cry inside of my jacket. So I got my head down. I lift my head back up. And when I lift my head back up, they rolling that casket out of that church. When I tell you the waterworks started all over again, and this time I'm trying to stop it, but it's like they wouldn't stop. So one of my older cousins, which is like a big sis, came up to me, grabbed me, and walked me out. I got people that are around me that's well good friends of mine, preachers, pastors, mentors of mine. They tap me on the shoulder. Man, it's all right, man. It's all right, it's all right, it's all right. It's all right, man. It's all right, it's all right. She ain't in pain. She ain't in pain. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. My cousin looked at all of them. She's like, I know y'all trying to help him, but just give him a moment. Give him a moment. Because the more y'all talk to him, the more he's trying to get himself together, and it's not working. Give him a moment.
Give them a moment. And that's what you needed. You needed someone to advocate for you, to allow you the space to feel, and it's okay.
She's like, just give him a moment. And then after I got myself together, I'm like, man, I wasn't supposed to do it. She said, you needed to do that. She said, do not feel sorry for being human.
Mm-mm.
She said, that was just as much your grandmama as everybody else. She said, you needed that moment. She said, it was a good thing you didn't do a eulogy because you would have been bottling it up. And I think what it was more so was at all the deaths that I had experienced where I wasn't able to let it out.
Yeah.
So it was like all of it's like, oh, we got a sense now. Okay, yeah, we coming out.
Oh yeah. And that's really what needed to happen, right? And allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to feel is so important, because we feel like oftentimes we feel like I have to keep it together for my family. I have to keep it together for my siblings or my children and things like that. And what we don't really internalize is that the word says God's strength is made perfect in our weakness.
Mm,
We can't access his strength while we are pretending to be
be strong.
strong.
No.
We have to boast in our weakness. We have to allow ourselves to feel. It's okay to cry and fall apart in front of your kids. It's okay to cry and fall apart in front of your family. It's okay. Even if they don't understand it now, they
They
will
know they
respect
know.
it. They'll respect it because you're being honest with what's going on within you. And then God can use that. God can allow, when you're open and vulnerable like that, God can, that opens the door for him to be able to comfort you.
Oh,
But
yeah.
if you're like, I got it, I'm good, I'm okay, you can't receive comfort.
Mm-mm. Because once again, one I'll never forget, woman that was like my auntie, she looked at me, she's like, but this is doing a visitation. I'm outside kind of handling other stuff. She looked at me, she said, you good? I said, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. She's like, you know, you can let it out, right? And it was like at that moment, it was about to come out, and then somebody called my name for something. So I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Mhm.
straight. Went over there, did what I do, and I'm like pushing my emotions back. Somebody asked me, they're like, somebody even asked me that day, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." I said, "What I'll do is," I said, "I'll deal with what I have to deal with now. I'll be here for everybody else, and I'll have my moment later on." I said, "I'll deal with mine on the back end, but right now I got to be strong for everybody else."
Yeah, but it's not your job to be strong for everybody else. That's God's job. He never asked us to be strong for everybody else.
But we take it on ourselves. We
We
take
do.
it on ourselves.
We do. One thing that I learned very quickly in my grief journey was that pretending is exhausting. It's exhausting. And I I'm I'm a very matter of fact type of person. So that was just I had zero tolerance for pretending, So if a person would ask me, hey, how are you doing? I would I would take a moment before I answered to really be introspective. How am I doing right now?
Hmm.
And sometimes I was okay. This moment right now, I'm okay. 5 minutes from now, I can't call it. I don't know, right?
Hmm.
Or if I wasn't okay, I'd be like, you know what? It's been a rough day, or I've had better days.
Hmm.
But being honest about how I felt, that gave me the freedom to feel the things I needed to feel without feeling trapped in the mask that I was trying to portray. Even after I went back, because I took off 6 months after I had my son. I didn't work for 6 months because I couldn't even get out of bed. And when I went back to work, even when people say, "Oh, how are you doing?" I've had better days.
You being truthful with it. You're
Yeah.
being all the way honest.
And when you're honest, you know, the people that really care about you,
They're
they
gonna.
will dig deeper. They will inquire further. How can I support you? What do you need? Do we need to pray? Do you need to cry? What do we need? The people that, they're
Yeah, man.
asking, hey, how are you doing? But they're not really listening to your response as they pass you by. It doesn't matter to them anyway. So I
Mm,
might as well be honest because the result is going to be the same. If I say I'm good or I'm not good today, they're going to be like, oh, okay, and keep walking anyway.
yep.
So it does me no good to pretend for anyone.
Yeah. It doesn't. And for me, it was like I can honestly say it was like it got exhausting because it's like what it ended up being was I'm like I'm pouring into everybody else, but who's pouring back into me?
Mhm. Absolutely. And your cup is already empty.
Hmm.
Cup's already empty. So you're trying to be strong for everyone when
I'm
you
trying
are
to see.
utterly weak and devastated. So you can't even be effective at that.
Mm-mm.
So you might as well just be honest. And the beautiful thing about being honest with how you feel, it gives others permission to be honest about how they feel.
Mhm.
And when that happens, there's so much healing and so much strength that happens collectively.
Come on.
But if you're pretending, that means they have to pretend. So then everybody's really guarded and nobody gets healing.
Mm-mm. I'll never forget it. I asked my cousin, the one that just tapped me on the leg, didn't say nothing, just tapped me on the leg. I said, "What made you do that?" She said, "You didn't need to hear I'm praying for you at that moment." She said, "You didn't need to hear that." She said, "God told me he's done heard that enough." She said, "All he told me to do was just touch you." I said, "Literally." I said, at first, I'm like, why is he touching me? Because I knew the minute she did it, I knew it was like, here comes the waterworks. I'm like, man, I was good. Why you gotta come over here?
You were pretending good.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said, you got a good act going. She said, and I could read right through it. She said, "Oh, the actor was real good."
It's such a blessing to have people who know you in those ways, who
Mhm.
have that ability and that have that connection with you, so that you have the freedom to be vulnerable with those kinds of people. It's important to have that kind of community. Um, and I wouldn't have survived without our community at all.
Mhm. So we're gonna we're gonna talk about your book, but then we're gonna play a little game. We're
Okay.
gonna play a little game after that. All right. So tell us about this book that you wrote.
Yeah. So my book, Sunny with a Chance of Showers, A Story of Love, Loss, and Hope, is basically my resilience story through my grief journey on the things that I learned, um, so that I could help someone else along their journey or help someone who's trying to support a grieving person as well. And I by no means feel like I have all the answers. Um, but I what I do know is that there are lessons and things that you can learn, and you can learn how to grieve well so that the grief and the darkness doesn't take over you. Because the darkness is heavy. It is very heavy. And the lies that the enemy tells you in the darkness, it's okay. You don't have to be here. You're alone. Nobody understands how you feel. Even God has abandoned you. This is all your fault. Like all these lies that happen. And I really, in my book, I really encourage people to stay in the light and to really stand on the word, um, use their community. So, lean on their community, communicate, be honest with how they're feeling so that they can experience the healing and freedom that they need. And so I wrote this book. It took me 5 years to write it. Um, yeah, it was definitely a God thing because he told me to write it. And he said, I want you to write a book. And it was about 2.5 to 3 years after we lost our son. And I was like, absolutely not. Mm-mm. I'm barely functioning right now. Like how that means I have to like go back to those spaces and feel all the things, and I'm just barely functioning. How can you expect me to do that? And I really didn't want to write it. Um, but
He made you
I
do
had to be obedient.
it. Mm.
I
Mm.
had to be obedient.
Why you
It
gotta
it
say
took
that
me,
old word? Why you gotta
I
say that
know,
old
I
word?
know, it took me a year because I said no for a whole year. And
Mm.
the Holy Spirit was like, "Are you really not gonna do what I told you to do?" And I was like, "No, no, no, no. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Just give me a couple more months. Give me a couple
Yeah,
more
just
months.
let me do it." But I mean, I just poured my heart out in that book. And I really hope that it empowers people to be able to grieve well and understand the heart of God in our grief and know that He's with us. Um, Even when we feel like He's far away, He's so close, especially when we're hurting. So yeah, I wrote this book, and it's available on Amazon, and I'm super excited about the impact that it's having in people's lives. I released it March, no, March, was it March? I think it was March 1st I released it. And it's the testimonies that people have been sharing with me about the impact and how it's changed their view of God and drawn them closer and helped them communicate better with their partner and understand their
Wow.
partner better, because everybody grieves differently. So understanding that, it doesn't mean that your spouse doesn't care about what happened. They are likely grieving differently than you. Um, and that's okay. So yeah, it was an incredible experience to write it. It was very challenging, and also very painful. Um, but I got through it, and I'm grateful that it's out in the world now.
I like that. I like it. And I challenge everyone to go over there to Amazon and buy a copy of that book. As a matter of fact, to the first person that comments in our comment section, me, I promise you, I myself am personally going to make sure that you get a copy of that book. I'm going to buy it
Awesome.
out
Thank
of
you.
my pocket.
Thank you so much. I
No
appreciate that.
problem. No problem. So now we about to have a little fun. So
Okay.
we're going to play a game entitled This or That.
Oh, okay, great.
All right. So now in this game, I'm going to give you two options, and you got to pick between the two.
Okay.
One of them has to go. All right. Let's go Biggie or Tupac.
Tupac. I'm from Cali.
California love.
That's right. Tupac all the way.
All right, all right, all right. Michael Jackson or Prince.
Oh, very challenging there. But I do love Michael Jackson.
All right, all right. Boys to Men or New Edition.
Oh, 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 that's really hard. They're both good. Um, I would probably say Boys to Men because I might know more of their songs.
I got you. I got you. All right. Let's go. Mm, okay, I got you. Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey.
Whitney Houston, hands down,
You really putting them in the same caliber?
hands
What?
down. Whitney Houston had some of the best vocals of all time.
Right. I agree. I agree. 1000%. All right. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see here. I gotta make you get hard on you now. I gotta give you a hard one. I have.
Bring it,
Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Kendrick Lamar or Drake.
Kendrick.
That's how Cali coming back
No
healthy.
contest. And the way he dragged Drake all of 24 and 25, no contest.
Poor Drake didn't stand a chance.
Listen, he messed around and found out.
Yeah. Kendrick like, oh, you want to play? Let's play. Boom.
There are some people you just don't poke the bear. You just be like, no, I'm cool.
Mm-hmm. There's some people, like Big Mama them used to say, deserve a whole lot of leave alone.
A whole lot of leave alone.
Like, this man's so petty, he gonna roast you during the Super Bowl with billions of people watching.
The level the level of drag was epic. I I can't. It has to be Kendrick.
R.I.P. to Drake. R.I.P. to Drake, because
Yeah, he needs to go to like interior design or something. Just like
yeah,
give it
'cause
up for a
no,
while.
it's done. It's done. All right. So I always give our family members one time to try to get me on one. So you got one chance to try to get me on one.
Ooh. Does it have to be music related?
No, it could be anything.
Hmm. Pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie?
Pumpkin.
Really?
Yeah, all day, every day. Pumpkin pie.
Oh my goodness. Sweet potato.
All right, all right, all right. I ain't gonna hold that against you. I won't hold that against you. All right. So now we're gonna have what is called the real talk moment, which what that is we're gonna give you the spotlight for you to share with our audience a little bit of where they can find you at, and also give you a chance to give them some encouraging words. And trust me, you will be back. I promise. You're
I
coming back.
appreciate that.
You have
That
to.
sounds awesome. All right. All right, y'all. So where you can find me is on Instagram as Dr. Lexi Harrigan. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. My book is Sunny with a Chance of Showers. You can find it on Amazon as well as on alexiaharrigan.com. And feel free, reach out, leave comments on my socials. I read all the comments. And I really hope that through this talk today, you have been encouraged and inspired to be honest with your what you're feeling. It's okay to feel the feels, and also lean on your support system. And if you are that support system, then really just be there for your people and just support them in the way that they need, not necessarily the way that makes you most comfortable. So sometimes it's just about saying, I love you when I'm here. So I really hope that this has helped y'all today. And it's been so fun to be on here with you.
Definitely, definitely. You are definitely coming back, like I said. And as I always say, you all, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments. Meaning, sometimes if we look at it as bad, God is only turning it around for our good. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. And I will see y'all next week. Peace. What is up? What is up? What is up? Everyone, everyone, everyone. It is another day, another time, and another week for yours and my favorite Monday night show. And I'm talking about We'll Talk Monday. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight, you all, we have a beast up in here tonight. We had a conversation once, and from that one conversation, we automatically clicked. It was like literally our spirits aligned. It's like talking to someone that I knew my whole life. So, you all, I'm gonna just let her introduce herself, you all. So I want y'all to like, I want y'all to share, and I want y'all to tag, and I want y'all to tell everybody and tell somebody that We'll Talk Monday is on. Wait a minute, let me rephrase that. This been the Music Love Awards nominated podcast of the year. We'll Talk Monday is on. So let's hit it, you all. Let's hit it. Let's hit it. Let's hear it. Hello, 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 ma'am. How are
Hi.
you?
Hi, James. How are you? I'm doing great. And thank you so much for having me on your show.
All right. I am well. How are you? Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
So, tell my audience a little bit about you for the ones that may have been living under a rock for a while.
Okay, so my name is Fionia Salmon, and I am an author, an entrepreneur, a woman of God. I believe in faith is the foundation of everything, and everything that I do, I put it to God in prayer and allow Him to lead me and direct me. You might be asking, oh, your accent. Yes, I'm from Jamaica, I'm from the Caribbean. So, yes, that's the accent. I migrated here over 10 years ago, and currently working in aviation and also, doing my side hustles as well. You know how we do it. So thank you for having me, James.
No problem, no problem, no problem. I am excited about having this conversation tonight. So, we're going to kick it off with a question like this. When I
Mm.
say I survived it, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Go ahead, repeat.
When I say I survived it, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
I survived mental abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse.
Mm.
Mm.
So at this point, what I want you to do is tell my audience one of your survival stories, and then we're gonna go from there.
So when I came here over a little bit over 10 years ago, my ex-husband at the time, we got married for love and everything. And I think that because I'm an immigrant, he thinks that he can control me or limit where I go, who I talk to. And for years, I couldn't even mention this to my family to let them know what was going on because my family loved him so much. And I was protecting him day in, day out, so that no one will look down on him and everything. But those are signs of someone in an abusive relationship. So what I did, I just one day I just said, you know what, this is not my destiny. I have to get out of this. And I remember one year I went to Canada to visit my friend, and when I came back, I saw my clothes was thrown out on the porch. I had nowhere to go because we were living in the south at the time, and even my car that I was driving, he would take away the car. He was just totally want to be in control of everything. When I said everything, everything. And for me, I struggled under, his control for many months. I cried to my sleep. I cried, literally cried every night going to bed because I don't know where to turn to. Yes, you might be asking, were you praying? Yes, I was praying. And oftentimes we do pray and we are saying that we're listening to God, but we're not listening to God because sometimes we do not block out those outside noises, and sometimes we tend want to just lean onto our own understanding. But remember, God says, not do not lean onto your own understanding. Trust Him and allow Him to lead the way. And I think that for me, I spent so much time in that situation because I was not allowing God to lead. I was not taking the time out even to listen to Him, for Him to instruct me as what to do. I remember I went to Mississippi, and at the time I was working with a telephone company at the time, and they said to me, they're looking for a district manager. Mark, it took me 17 years to finish my bachelor's, and to just get a job, just finishing my bachelor's, and to become an assistant district manager. That's a huge job. And they said that they're going to send me to Mississippi to look around to see if I really like the area and everything. Remember, I want to get out of my situation because at the time when he threw me out, I actually find somewhere and I was living, and he will just pull up at my workplace and everything. So I was like, okay, maybe God is saying I need a way out. So anyway, I went to Mississippi. I thought that that was God's way. Went to Mississippi, looked around, and this voice said to me that, Fiona, this is not the place for you. I was like, Why? This is a big job. Why this is not the place for me?" And I said to God, okay, so what should I do? And the voice came to me and said that I need to move back to New York City where my family is. And I said, but I don't have a job. I don't have anywhere to live, even though I do have family here, but there was no space for me here. I remember I called my brother and I said, hey, I'm coming back to New York. Can you allow me to stay with you for a while? And he said to me, well, I have to ask my wife. And when he asked, he said that his wife said, no, I can't stay there, but I can leave my things there. So I said, God, where am I gonna live? Like, I'm homeless right now, Right throughout the process, I was trusting God and hoping that something will come about. I remember during one of my visits here, when I was living in the South and I came to New York, I met this guy who I met from back home, like way in the days when I was going to high school. And he gave me his number and said, whenever that you're in New York and, if you need somewhere to stay, reach out to me. I picked up the phone after and I called him and I said, hey, I'm heading to New York right now. Sorry, it's sudden, but I need somewhere to stay. And he said, no problem, you can come. I have a little room. It's not big, it's not fancy, it's not, but you can come and stay with me. I tell you, James, when I went to that room, I have to open the door, squeeze myself in to close the door. In fact, sit on the bed and then close the door. That's just to show you that there was no space. But guess what? I let it work because God opened a door for me when I didn't see a door. So I walked through that door, stayed there for 2 months, and then I got my own place. And from there, it was just moving up. Yes, my ex-husband, he wanted me to come back, and all the nice things, and oh, he's sorry. I said, no, I'm not going to come back. I'm going forward. I'm not looking back. And in space of 1 month, he sent me that divorce paper. So that was a very dark period of my life.
But you survived it. You survived it.
I did.
What I commend you for is a lot of people, when their brother said, no, you can't stay here,
Mm-hmm.
they would have been like, okay, God, I tried to leave the situation, but obviously there's nowhere for me to go. I don't have a place to stay. So obviously I was hearing you wrong. So since I was hearing you wrong, let me just stay where I'm at. But
Hmm.
he was like, no,
No,
I know I heard from God, and I know that He told me to leave his situation.
that's right.
And another thing I commend you for is you didn't look back. You
I
kept
didn't
moving
look
straight
back.
forward ahead.
Mm.
Because if he would have looked back, imagine all the things that she would have lost out on just by looking back.
I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. Maybe I would commit suicide. I don't know. And even in that moment, just to tell you how much it really affected me, I had to, I went and get therapy so that I'm able to cope with all of that distress that I have been through, so that I can turn out to be the best version of myself. So I don't allow my situation to be burdened on my shoulder. I shake that off and I said, I'm going forward.
That's to be commended, because most people, like I said, would have been like, you know what, man, I'm not going to go for it. I'm gonna just stay where I'm at because I'm comfortable right here.
That's right.
That's the
That's right.
word right there, comfortable. Like you was, even though you wasn't comfortable in the situation because it was bad for you.
Mm.
Sometimes we can get comfortable in bad situations just because of the simple fact of we become used to it.
Dependency. Dependency.
Yeah. And there's some people that fall in love with toxicity. They're in love with the toxicity of a
Mm.
relationship because they don't realize how toxic it is, and they forget how good a healthy relationship feels.
That's so true. I really agree with you. I can say that in that household, I didn't pay a bill. He paid all the bills. He had a good job. He's an engineer, so he makes money. So everything was provided. Was I comfortable in spirit? No. Was I comfortable in him hitting on me or abusing me physically or talking down to me, mentally breaking me down? When I said break me down, because guess what? He wants me where he wants me. And God said, no, Fiona, this is not for you. It's not working. And oftentimes we're not honest with ourselves. We have to be honest to ourselves to say, hey, girl, this is not working out for you. It's not working out. You need to try plan B. It's not working out. It's time for you to go.
And we don't want to go because, like I said, we have become used to the toxic. We
Mm-hmm.
become used to it. It's like the toxic is like, I don't want to say it's fun to us, but it is fun to us. The toxicity is like, it keeps it spicy. It keeps it
Mm-hmm.
spicy. And we think that we need that spice to keep a great relationship. It doesn't take that. And
No,
then
it
once you
doesn't.
get in a healthy relationship or a healthy situation, you realize how crazy it was to be in that toxic situation.
Yes, and sometimes you're out of that relationship, that bad relationship, that you're saying to yourself, even when the good one comes, you're questioning yourself. Is this, is, oh, this is so true to be. You know, why? Because you're used to that toxic relationship, toxic environment. Everything that is uttered is just negative.
Mm-hmm. You're used to it. You have become immune to it. It's like, I want to say, in a roundabout way, it becomes a drug to you.
Yeah. And I reached the stage where he calls and he apologized to me. I didn't ask him to apologize to me, but for him to, God humbled him, for him to call me and said, you know what? I wanted this marriage, but I was not ready. I was not ready emotionally. I was not ready. I was not available. And oftentimes I often says that you have to be fit to live and fit to live with in this earth, on
Mm.
this earth.
Say
you
that
know
again for the ones in the back.
you have to be fit to live and fit to live with. And a lot of people don't take the time out to deal with their baggages. They have a lot of baggages and they take it in their relationship. They take it everywhere they go. They need to shake off and, shake off all those baggages because it's not good, because you're not fit to live with. You might think that you're fit, but you're not fit to live with.
Mm. So here's my question: how did you deal with your baggage before you moved on to something healthy? Did you go through therapy? What did you do?
I did a lot of therapy. I did a lot of soul searching. I wrote my book from all that. I started my book while I was there and I lost everything and I had to start all over again. But I had to do a lot of therapy, and even therapy of writing my book allow me to relive them and release and move on.
Because sometimes people are living rent free in our head. And here's the thing: we think forgiveness is for the other person. It's not for the other person, it's for you.
Yes.
Because holding on to that unforgiveness is
Mm-hmm.
nothing more than poison to your soul. And you are taking the poison and drinking the poison, eating the poison, and waiting on someone else to die. Make that
Mm.
make sense.
Yes, you make sense. A lot of times, um, we as individual, I think that we depend so much on the next person for us to be content,
Mm.
or we depend on the next person to be the better version of ourselves. But we are responsible and we need to hold ourselves accountable for our actions, for how we think, how we process things. So we can't say, okay, we're in a marriage or in a relationship and my happiness is based on my husband. If my husband is happy, then I'm happy. No, you have to individually work on yourself and work on the relationship with God as well, so that God can help you to exert, just pick up on anything that comes your way. If this align with your faith, yes or no, if they
Come
need
on.
to go.
That's powerful right there.
Mm,
Like for me, you have to get to a point to where you get tired of being sick and tired. And when it comes to the point to where it's either you or them, you got
mm-hmm,
to get to that point to where you're like, you know what, I'm choosing me 24/7, 365 days out of the year.
mm-hmm,
If I'm telling you what you're doing is messed up, if I'm telling you what you're doing is not healthy for me, and you
mm-hmm,
continuing to do it anyway, guess what? I'm going to choose me at this point.
mm. Word, word. That's powerful, powerful.
So here's my next question to you: how many of your friends are family? did you let know the situation that you was in, or did you
Oh,
kind of hold it in and try to be like, what goes on in this house stays in this house? Because I'll be honest, that's a toxic trait too. We in the
mm,
African American community have a toxic trait of what goes on in this house stays in this house. Now forget that. If what's going on in this house is affecting me physically, emotionally, and spiritually and mentally, I'm getting out of here.
mm-hmm. I was like that. What goes on in this house stays in this house. But guess what? What affects me, it's my responsibility because I need more for myself and that's not my destiny. That's not my end. So I have to get out. So holding in and even my book, I went deep in those dark places. Be transparent as possible. So when I went through, I realized that what goes on behind closed doors should stay. No, no, no. It's okay to speak up. It's okay to have a voice. It's okay to call someone and let them know what you're going through. Because I was drowning silently
Mm,
because I didn't want my family to know what I was going through. My family loved them. When I said my family loved them, yes, and I didn't want to disappoint them. But guess what? I realized that that disappointment is on them. I'm not going to disappoint myself, so I'm going to get out of this situation because I want to live stress free.
I like that. You said that disappointment is on them because so many times we live our lives trying to please others.
That's so true. We do. A lot of times we do. I see even on social media, I see where, and that's why sometimes you have to be careful with what you view and how you view people, and oh, you want your life to look this way, like the Jones or whatever. You don't know what happened in closed doors or behind doors. You don't know. So don't say you want to be like the Joneses. You don't know what it takes for them to be the Joneses. You
Mm-mm.
don't know what happened behind that door. So you know what? Show up every day as yourself. Show up as the best person ever. I'm gonna show up as Fionia. This is one Fionia. There's no more Fionia out there.
Mm. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna have what we call the real talk moment. What that is I'm gonna give you a moment to tell my audience where they can find you at, where they can follow you at, how they can support you, and then I want you to leave my audience with some kind of words of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, you coming back. You have to come back. We gotta get you back on here, legit. Like you family now, like
Definitely.
y'all don't understand. We met in a podcasters group.
Mm-hmm.
I message her, invite her on my show. We get on the phone on Facebook Messenger. You just have a conversation. You all, when I tell you, if we didn't go to church in the middle of that conversation,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I know it was real because it was like having a conversation with somebody that I've known my whole life.
Mm. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's just me. Just what you see is what you get.
And I,
I always pray for God to humble me, keep me humble, no matter the stages or the room that I go in. Allow me to be humble and be honest to myself and be transparent. And that's just me. This is Fiona all the way through.
I love it. I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you.
So we're gonna let you have your words of wisdom and tell my audience where they can find you at.
Definitely. If you realize that I'm wearing this t shirt and It's my walking motivation t-shirt, and it says, "It will be long, but not forever." And I
Mm,
live by this phrase because my sister, who passed away from HIV, she always said to me that, "Fiona, no matter what, in those dark moments, it will be long, but it's not going to be forever. Listen, pick yourself up. Don't give up. I know, listen, you are allowed to feel tired. You are allowed to say, boy, this is hard. But guess what? You're not allowed to do. You're not allowed to quit. Quitting must not be the answer. Get up, brush off. Even if you're crawling, you're still moving. Be the best person that you can be. Because guess what? It's not every day it's gonna rain. It's not every day it's gonna be sunshine. So guess what? It will be long, but not forever.
mm.
And if you're wondering where can you get a copy of my book is available on Amazon. It's in ebook. I'm also working on the audiobook because I realize that a lot of people, they don't like to read, so I'm working on the audio part of it. Um, hard cover, paperback, and it's also available on my TikTok shop. So Yonia underscore distributors. If you look for my company's name, you'll find it there. It's also on Facebook at Fionia Salmon, and it's also on Instagram, Fionia underscore Salmon official. So wherever you scroll on social media, you are able to order my book. And also, not to mention my YouTube channel, you might have seen my name, my handle, Fionia and Friends. Go ahead and follow me on all my socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you scroll, just go ahead and follow me. And also, if you come over to my YouTube channel, I created this podcast to encourage, inspire, and motivate people, a space that they can come and share their stories. Also, my Thankful Thursday, where we pause, just giving, just just be grateful. And this is like an informative session where we have experts like the doctors coming in, and they're talking about ways of losing weight or taking care of your body, your mind, spirit, and soul, the entire body. So come on over. Thankful Thursday, it's every second and fourth Thursday of each month. And also, Motivational Monday is the first and third Monday of each month. So come on over to my YouTube channel, and that is Fiona and Friends. It's a
Y'all
lot,
heard,
right?
y'all heard all that she has going on, right? Like I told y'all, she is a legend in these streets, and I appreciate her for taking some time out
Thank
to
you.
come in and share some wisdom with us. I want you all to like, I want you all to share, I want y'all to tag, I want y'all to go over there also and buy all of her books. I want her to reach back out to me and say, James, within a week I had to restock all of my
Oh,
books
to
because
God be the glory,
your
James.
family, your
Thank
Real
you.
Talk family, your James H. Glover Studios family just literally came over here and sold me out.
Oh my God, that would be a blessing, honestly. One thing I just want to say that I practice to be grateful for small mercies. And
Mm,
even if I don't reach the mass, one person, I'm okay with it.
I like that. I like that. So you all, as I always say, sometimes our disappointments are nothing more than God's appointments,
Yeah.
meaning some things that we looking at as bad, God is only turning it around for our good. Stay
Hmm.
blessed, and be a blessing to someone else. And I
Yes.
will see y'all next week. Peace. Love you all.